EAGLES, Eagles.
Tuesday, as they would say in the Philadelphia accent. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well out there. Rob Ellis, Tone to Shield Sports Take. Tone, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good, man. Like I always say, I feel good. I smell good. Let's have a good show, man.
All right, so Tuesday is definitely very Philly accent-ish. So I would say, like, Tuesday, long O is heavily...
Tuesday, yeah, you're right.
Well, Tuesday, we say Tuesday and day instead of day. Very heavy with the long O, like hoagie. That's definitely one.
I haven't had a hoagie in so long.
Oh, man. Sorry to do that to you this early.
I haven't had a cheesesteak, a hoagie.
I know. The danger is trying to find one elsewhere because it never works out. Unless you have it on, like, there are certain places where they will fly in the bread, where they know how to make a cheesesteak, a hoagie, or whatever. Yeah. When you're out of town, like I think there's actually one, Tone. I don't know how far are you from San Antonio?
Like 2.5 hours.
If you're ever there, just to be, whatever.
I was there. I was there a couple months ago. I was there like in, I want to say October.
There is a place there. There is a place there. So I would just, if you're ever in town again, look it up. But there's places in like Santa Monica. There's certain places where the people get it. But most of the time, if you see on a menu cheese, you'll see like steak and cheese. Get away. Don't even think about it, man.
No. To avoid it when it says Philly in front of it. Philly,
steak and cheese. Yeah.
Any place that has to tell you it's a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Nah, don't go for it. Don't go for it at
Don't
all.
do it, man. Don't do it.
Yeah. But you said something earlier. You said something funny earlier, right? The accent, the Philly accent. Tuesday is very Philly.
Yeah.
Baltimore has one of the funniest accents because
Baltimore is like almost an extreme of Philly.
It's like a Tuesday, like
Tuesday. I'm telling you, they're a little more extreme than we are. As you move your way south down 95, you get a little bit more. It's so funny, man. What's up, everybody?
Pittsburgh, they're the Yinzers.
Yeah, they're the Yinzers. They give you a little. It's had Midwestern sort of feel. Like that's I always say to people, they're like, "Oh, you're from Pennsylvania, like Pittsburgh." I'm like, "No, I'm from the Philadelphia area."
Nah, negative.
And it's a total, like Philly is uber East Coast and Pittsburgh is very Midwestern, even though it's in the same state. For people who don't know, it's crazy. Flexing and stepping. What's up, Mo? What's up, Kenny? What's up, Twiz? What's up, James? What's up, Mike? What's up, Nina? What is up? I am awake. Are you? What is up, M. Reyes, Tyrone, Duwad, Blatorian, Fitness Rebel checking in. Thank you. Yes, please hit the like button, everyone. Have you seen my ponytail? That's a new one, I think. I don't know. I haven't noticed that one before. Let's see who else we have. Chuck. What's up, Chuck? I think I got everybody. So hope you guys are doing great out there.
Man. I gotta know how does the live chat come up with their names, man?
Their handles. Yeah.
Their handles are hilarious.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. It is
my ponytail. That's hilarious.
Jermaine, what's up? Kyle. Yeah, Nina, if you guys want to hit us up with the origin of the
origin story.
Yes. Yeah, give it to me, man. Yeah, we would love to hear. Keep it clean, okay, before we go there, but
Keep it cute, you guys. Keep it cute.
You get the gist. You get the gist. All right. Flexing and Stepping says it was random. All right. Fair enough. All right. What would your handle be, Tone? What would your handle be? We kind of did this with the
my handle would be
with our fake
Glenwood.
names. Yes.
Ashley Glenwood.
I guess I'd have to go Willie Hillside. Yeah, I'd have to. I think I would. All right. Let's see. Chuck says real name. All right. That's fine. James, real name. Man. I got you. Fair enough. I guess we're looking for more of the people that have the crazy.
Like, for example, I'm awake. Are you? Like, how do you come up with that?
I know.
Listen. This is gonna be a fun show today, you guys. I can feel it because I'm in a goofy mood. So
yes,
we're gonna have some fun.
What's up, David? Yeah. All right. So, a couple things to update the folks on Eagle coaching wise, Tone. So
yes.
they bring in my man Clint Hurt. Clint Hurt might be the biggest assistant coach I've ever seen. This dude looks like a city block. Okay. He is friggin' huge. Okay. So he is going to take over the D line, which really let the birds down last year. So that's important. He was the DC with Seattle the last 2 years. Prior to that, he was the D line coach from 17 to 21. Here are the sack totals the last 3 years under him. They had 34 and 21. They had 47, 45 in 2022 and 47 last year. Solid. Eagles only had 43, just to put in perspective. And I think the Eagles a lot of talent on their D line, but it is going to be Clint Hurt's job to kick some dudes in the tail. I mean, let's be real about this. You got to get some guys going here because there's more talent there than what showed.
Yeah, he looks like the kind of guy that's no nonsense. He's a former player, so that so that always bodes well. With current players.
See if you could pull a still of him, Tone. If we can do it, I don't know if we can do it.
Oh,
we can't,
I sure can.
Because my man, this is the kind of guy that if he tells you go run through a brick wall, I am not arguing. I'm asking which wall do you need me to run through because I don't want to get on this guy's bad side. All right,
at all.
Trust me when I tell you that. So they dipped into the Seattle pool here for a couple of these hires, and we'll get into Carl Scott in a minute, who was going to coach defensive backs. But this is part of the the shakeup here. All right, check out my man here. I don't even know if the biggest picture on the right does it justice. Like this dude.
This is a grown man.
This is a big dude.
He is compared to Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll looks like he's, a stick figure compared to him. So anyway, he was with Pete Carroll.
A large brother.
Yeah, he's a big dude. That gives you a little. Look at the arms. Okay, are you kidding me?
That's a man.
Yeah. So he was one of Pete Carroll's guys for a long time. So he ends up coming here because Pete Carroll, got fired or whatever they're calling it. They parted ways. So that whole staff is up for grabs. So Clint Hurt is one of them. And then the other guy is Carl Scott. Carl Scott comes over to coach the defensive backs, which is needed too. I mean, let's face it. And I don't necessarily envy him because he's taking over a position where they definitely need talent. But he's coached in the NFL. He coached at Alabama too with Nick Saban. So I like that also. It comes from that tree. But Josh Jobe was there when he was there. And yeah, there's Carl. So he was at Alabama with Jobe. Not that it really matters, but on the offensive side, he was there with Jalen Hurts. He was there with Devontae Smith and Landon Dickerson. So there's going to be some familiarity, with him. And he's moved around. These guys are both, legitimate resume guys that come over here.
Yeah. And they have a proven track record of developing players. So
yeah.
That's important to me. Especially for Carl Scott's side, to be able to develop and get the most out of a guy like Tyreek Woolen, who was not a high draft pick at all.
Good point.
But he was put in positions to succeed, and Tyreek Woolen, took the ball and ran with it. And then Devin Witherspoon, he was a top 10 pick, I believe, in the draft. People had high expectations for him, but still, Carl Scott managed to guide that young man, to having an all rookie level season. Could be the defensive rookie of the year. You never know. So both Clint Hurt and Carl Scott, with that proven track record of development, that could bode well for the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, I'm gonna keep the same energy, right? You know, when it comes to Kellen Moore, when it comes to Vic Fangio, at face value, they appear like good hires. Clint Hurt, you know, Carl Scott, at face value, they appear like good hires. But we won't know that for sure. We still have to see the product come to fruition once the season starts. But overall, I do like the trajectory of where they're going. And it begs the question, you're going with all this experience in 2020 in the 2024 season. Where was this mantra or mindset coming into the season that just ended? Now, one person may say, well, okay, they got a late start because they were in the Super Bowl. They couldn't really build the roster, build the staff out the way they wanted to. Okay, but I still feel like you could have did a better job at building that staff. But again, they're clearly going, you know, they're clearly erring on the side of caution by making sure they get enough experience, enough high quality guys in there. And we'll see how it pans out. Again, I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm Switzerland with the Eagles hires right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I guess I'm looking at it more like learning from your mistakes. You know, you aired too young last year, and you don't want to make that same mistake again. I think they'll never say this publicly, but I think you also want to have guys that if you're Nick, that you can lean on, or guys that can troubleshoot a little bit better if things start going south with their own players. In other words, all right, Clint Hurt has been there, done that. If he sees he's not getting what he should be getting out of his defensive line, whether that's motivating guys or teaching them, you know, coaching them up, whatever term you want to use, he might have better solutions, you know, than somebody else had, you know, previously. Or same with Carl Scott, whatever. I also think that they wouldn't be bringing these guys in if Vic Fangio wasn't comfortable with the way that they coach. So this all has to work hand in hand with each other, man, in conjunction. So I think Fangio's got some say into who is going to be on his staff. You muted, Tom.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Clint Hurt, his and Vic Fangio's paths crossed, I believe, in Chicago. So I think that's that connection there. But you're right. Clearly, Vic Fangio has some influence, and you know, we'll see. This begs the question: what kind of influence will Kellen Moore have on the offensive side? Because we haven't seen any offensive hires. Granted, Kellen Moore was just announced, but we'll see how that pans out as well. I'm curious to see where he pulls, or how he fills out his staff. I would imagine he's going to fill it in with some Cowboys staff members, maybe some people from the Chargers.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, look, here's the thing. If everything stays in place in terms of AJ and Devontae, and I want to talk to you about that in a minute because I had an interesting discussion last night with somebody. But if those two stay in place and Goddard, if you can finally keep him healthy for an entire season and figure out how to use him, that's a nice start. But they have to get some depth at the receiver spot. They got to get some depth at the tight end spot. So Correct. Whatever receiver coach they bring in, you know, it's not like you got to all of a sudden get a ton out of these guys. They're really good to begin with, but you gotta be able to utilize some other people. You know, as far as some of the other positions, running backs coach, you know, I'm not going to tell you I know exactly what happens day to day with these guys. And somebody, like, to me, a lot of it is how good is the person you're going to bring in? If it's DeAndre Swift coming back or it's somebody you draft or, you know, whatever. I mean, a coach is at the mercy to some degree to his talent.
Most of the time. You know, a coach's job really is to just put the seasoning on the meal that you've already prepared as a player, right? You know, they're just supposed to jazz you up a little bit, make you that, you know, that extra few percentage points better. That's pretty much what a coach's job is. At the end of the day, it's up to the player to put them, you know, to, prepare themselves, you know, take care of their bodies, do whatever they can to hone their craft. Coaches, they just, you know, they're guiding lights. That's pretty much what they are. In my opinion, at least. I
agree. All right, two things Eagles wise of note, depending on how much you care about this. But Jalen Hurts will replace Brock Purdy in the Pro Bowl, which is this Sunday. Obviously, Purdy can't play; he's playing in the Super Bowl. Darius Slay will replace Charvarius Ward, who is obviously playing as well. So, you know, take it for what it is, man. You know, it is what it is.
Hey, I mean, 2-time Pro Bowler out of his 3 years starting. Hey, man, take it. You know, take the small wins whenever you can get them.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let me ask you this. I was on WIP last night with Ashlyn Sullivan, who does a really good job. You may have seen her on NBC Sports Philadelphia doing Flyers pre and post game show. She also does a lot of Eagle stuff. And we had this discussion. And I wanted to bounce it off you, Tone, and everybody in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
She's of the mindset she does not think A.J. Brown's going to be back. She thinks they're going to trade him. She thinks he wants out to a degree. I don't want to put too many words in her mouth, but her sense was that he wasn't going to be back. I view it a little bit differently. I think he's an emotional guy. I think he's, diva-ish to an extent. I think he can be volatile sometimes. I don't know if, and part of her logic was he totally cleaned everything out of his locker room stall, which he hadn't done in years past and stuff. But anyway, I think he's back. I think you got to just, what I would do is circle back with him if I'm like Howie or whatever, or Nick, mid-February, just let everything just settle, see where he's at. I don't think it's that, damaged. I think it's repairable. But what do you think?
It's funny you bring that up. Me and Celia have been going back and forth about the future of this team and what sacrifices may need to be made so they can, give themselves a fighting chance to rebuild that defense, with high quality talent. And I'm under the impression that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to find a way to trade A.J. Brown next offseason.
Not this year, but next year.
Not this offseason. And it's not because of the relationship being tarnished or whatever. He's a tremendous player. I just think trading A.J. Brown could provide you so much. You could, all right, I'll put it this way. Today, you can get two first round picks for A.J. Brown today. You really probably could have. But overall, I just think that they're in a situation where they need draft picks. They don't have the money to spend, in free agency, really.
Yeah.
They're going to need to really give themselves a fighting chance to get this roster together. I kind of compare it to what the Chiefs did. The Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill, and they leveraged that. They leveraged those picks that they got in return, and they completely reloaded on defense. And their defense is what it is now.
Right.
Obviously, you have to make the right decisions and draft the right people.
And it helps to have a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Of course, and it helps to have a Hall of Fame quarterback. But then that begs the question: how much faith do we have in Jalen Hurts to be able to transition away from A.J. Brown? Right? Because as of right now, going into this season, I'm not ready to separate A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
But if Jalen Hurts takes his game to a level where I feel comfortable, then the Eagles may have to consider trading A.J. Brown because, look, Devontae Smith's payday is coming up, and you're not going to be paying two wide receivers north of $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not.
Interesting.
I don't think any team is doing it. So the way I see it, Devontae Smith is their pride and joy. They drafted him, so they have legitimate stake in him. A.J. Brown, A.J. Brown was traded here. There's no real ties to the city outside of his production. And outside of Jalen Hurts, I can definitely see the Eagles trading A.J. Brown. Do I want that to happen? Not really, but it's a possibility and it's plausible because it can really flip the fortune of this franchise and give them enough assets to reload this defense. But again, I'm curious to know what you think about that.
I think it's interesting. So your thought is get out ahead of the curve before he's a free agent when he's got 1 year left. Basically, is that what the gist of the
correct
is?
Correct. So so he signed the 4-year extension, right?
Yeah.
And this year, the 2023 season, the season that just ended, was the first year of that deal. Because his first year in Philadelphia, he was
still on his Tennessee deal. Yeah.
Right. He was in the 5th year option stage. So now he's entering the 2nd year of that one of the four.
So he'd have 2 years left on the deal when you move.
So he would have 2 years left, but they have an opportunity to get out of it after next season. Okay. I think fiscally that's the perfect time to trade him. Again, do I want him traded? No, because I would love for a team to find a way to make things work. But again, if you had to ask me what's best for the team, you got to get yourself some draft picks.
All right, I'm keeping him unless he's saying he wants out. I mean, that's different. If this,
I'm not even entertaining that because I don't believe that.
Okay, I don't necessarily either. I think he's, the year wore on everybody. Whatever.
Yeah. Everyone's sensitive right now, so I don't think he wants out, but I definitely think they are thinking about who can they leverage to get more, to get higher quality picks, to free up some cap space, whatever it may be. It's entirely possible.
I wouldn't move him because here's why. And this is no knock on Jalen because nobody is Patrick Mahomes, but I'm not moving him. I don't think you have enough offense if you trade him. I don't. And this is a team that emphasizes the passing game so much, even over at the expense of the run game. I got to have two beasts, and I'll figure everything else out. I get your point. I think everything you say is sensible in terms of they're going to
do you not think Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert can become those beasts with more opportunities?
I think Devontae's
because
I think that AJ Brown's better. I do. I think AJ Brown is Batman and Devontae Smith is an incredible Robin and could be a one if AJ wasn't here. But I don't think he's as explosive as A.J. Brown, as dominant as A.J. Brown. Right. And I don't trust Dallas Goedert. I don't. I think Dallas Goedert is all the talent in the world, but I don't trust him. He doesn't stay on the field.
Fair enough.
And I don't – this may be – like I'm going to be really – Tone, one of the like underlying storylines here with Moore, if Goddard goes off this year, I'm going to be looking really sideways at Brian Johnson and what the heck happened last year, because when he was on the field, he didn't get nearly enough touches, and Nick too, by the way.
Yeah. I kind of understand this AJ Brown thing because as much as I love AJ Brown and what he's done for the Philadelphia Eagles, because he's put this team in many positions to win games. He was a spectacular player, back-to-back seasons, over 1,400 yards, 7+, 10 touchdowns, however you want to go about it. He's a spectacular talent. This has nothing to do with him as a person. I'm a huge fan of AJ Brown. But I'm looking at it from the Philadelphia Eagles perspective. And you have a young wide receiver in Devontae Smith who just got finished dropping 150 yards on 8 catches in a playoff game when everybody else decided not to show up. Right. Yeah. He instantly turned on the #1 tag in that game.
I agree with you. I love Devontae.
So no. Yeah. I don't want to frame it as if you don't like Devontae. And I do believe AJ Brown has he has a dynamic skill set that's different from Devontae's. I totally understand what you mean by that. But the reality is, with Jalen Hurts' contract, if you're trying to really fill out this roster, especially on defense, and you're trying to get better, and you're expecting your quarterback to get better, he's going to start to have to elevate more guys around him. Yeah. That's the next stage in Jalen Hurts' development. He has to begin to start elevating guys around him, and he has to be able to start utilizing more guys around him. It's no matter how you slice it, the AJ Brown, the Eagles offense the last season was too AJ Brown centric.
I agree with you.
To the point where
that's on Jalen. You're right. That's on Jalen too.
Right.
Like, he's got to trust others. He really does.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just feel like right now the Eagles, if they want to fast track getting this defense back on track, so someone we love is going to get traded. It's either going to be Hassan Reddick. It's either going to be probably going to be AJ Brown. It's all a possibility.
Oh, I think anything's on the table. You do. So I think anything's possible. But I think that it's more possible that I sent you a couple things in the private chat. Sorry, yep. I'm booking guests as we're having this discussion.
No, you got it. I got you.
I'm just trying to keep up with stuff. Anyway, so I think it's more likely. Let me put it to you this way: that Hassan Reddick gets moved. I do, because I don't think he's happy with his contract. I think that there's still such value in edge rushers, even though his numbers are down a little bit last year. You could get, I think, a pretty decent haul back for him. Tone, you know what else to worry about though? Like just with moving anybody, man, like I don't know that you have enough right now. And I'm moving on from like really good players. It just scares me, man.
No. It scares me too, right? Like it scared the Chiefs, right? It's terrifying.
Yeah.
To have a guy like that in the building and trade him, you're taking a major risk, and it always goes back to this root. Do you believe Jalen Hurts really is that dude?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, I know.
Because
do you think they do? Let me ask you. Do you think they do?
Right, and that's the $50 million question.
Mm-hmm.
Do they think Jalen Hurts is capable of elevating people around him outside of an AJ Brown? Do you look? Let's just go to the money for one. AJ Brown is, I believe, ranked in the top 5, top 6 as far as highest paid wide receivers. Devontae Smith.
Is. Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. AJ is, yes. Devontae Smith, he's going to get paid.
Yeah. I think it happens.
Back-to-back seasons over 1,000 yards over the past so far in his young 3-year career, over 3,000 yards receiving. He's been a lightning rod in production. He's averaging over 1,000 yards every year in his career. He just came off 140, 150-yard performance in the playoffs. His leverage is building. We talked about this. That price tag is only going up. Do you really believe the Eagles are going to pay 2 wide receivers north of $20 million a season?
It's a great question. Yeah, look, it's a great question. I hear you. And no, it doesn't.
No team is doing that.
It's very unlikely. It's very unlikely
because you have to spread that money around.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to start paying offensive linemen. Landon Dickerson's coming up. He's back. Two-time Pro Bowler in 3 seasons.
Yeah,
his price tag is going to be tremendous. The Jordan Mailata re-up is going to come up faster than what you think. Lane Johnson on the back end, if they're it's going to get to a point where he's 1 year dealing it. You know what I mean?
All right, let's play the hypothetical. What would you get if you moved AJ? In your opinion, how high?
On the high end.
I mean, he's still only, what is he, 26? I mean, he's
like 26, 27, something like that. If you moved AJ Brown today, after these back-to-back seasons, you're getting 2 first-round picks.
2? I don't think you get 2 1s.
How much did the Chiefs get for Tyreek Hill?
All right, hold on. He is 26. Okay, he'll play at 27. It's still young. I mean, I'm either way, whatever. All right, let me look up with it.
Okay, he was traded to Miami for 5 draft picks.
All right, how many ones?
He was traded. Okay, here it is. A 2022 first, a 2022 second, a 2022 fourth.
All right, so you're not getting 2 ones for AJ.
Right. And a 2023 fourth and sixth. So 2 1s, that's a bit much. You're right. But
I don't know that you get a 1.
You got what?
I'm telling you, man. I don't know that you get a 1.
Yo, Rob, I almost asked you a disrespectful question. I almost asked you a disrespectful question.
You
mean okay, Rob? Okay, live chat. This is where I need y'all to pounce. All right.
I'm telling you, man.
You're saying here with a straight face on Sports Take at 11:28 a.m. Eastern time. The Eagles can get a first round pick. AJ Brown.
All right, let me put it this way: you get a 1 and a 3. A 1 and a 3.
Back-to-back seasons, All Pro, second team. Back-to-back seasons, Pro Bowl.
He's a pain in the tush.
He's nowhere near a pain in the tush than most of these other guys.
It's true.
He's an easier.
Okay. I'll go a 1.
What?
A 1 and 2 3s. 1 and 2 3s.
Yo,
I don't think it's crazy, man. I don't.
You're undervaluing this guy.
All right.
Okay, let's really break this down because I don't know if you're trolling me or not. So
I'm not. I don't do that, dude. You know that. I'm not trolling you.
I know.
Okay, I'll go a 1 and 2 3s.
Listen to this. Okay. In 2022 and 2023, just think about these back-to-back seasons. Okay. In 2022, AJ, and he's been healthy.
Yeah.
In 2022, AJ Brown gave you 88 catches on 145 targets, 1,500 receiving yards, averaged 17 yards a catch, 11 touchdowns. he accounted for 59 first down conversions. In 2023, 17 games played, 106 catches on 158 targets, just over 1,400 receiving yards.
Right.
Averaged almost 14 yards a catch, 7 touchdowns, amounted for 70 first down conversions. You mean to tell me you can't get a similar Tyreek Hill deal like AJ Brown right now?
I don't think that he's looked at in the same elite category, whether it's right or wrong. I don't think he's looked at the same way as Tyreek Hill. I don't. I think he's at like a notch below in organizational eyes. I love him. I don't want to trade him.
Wow.
I just said I don't want to trade him.
I mean, I don't want to trade him either, but I'm just acknowledging greatness. I'm trying to.
I don't think he's Tyreek Hill though.
I don't think. Okay, everyone has their. Okay, I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
Stylistically, they're completely different.
Yeah.
Right.
One's power. Well, like Tyreek
one's more physical, and one's more speed and all that kind of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Back-to-back seasons, AJ Brown finished in the top 5 receiving. I think Tyreek Hill is one. I totally understand. I understand what you're saying about Tyreek Hill. That is a different animal right there.
Yeah.
But the way people value wide receivers today,
right?
AJ Brown is easily a top 3 receiver, top 5 receiver in today's NFL. Easily, those kind of guys.
I think he's top 5. I do. I think he's top 5.
Those kind of guys are worth a lot.
Okay. Okay. Well, look, it's good debate in the chat too. A lot of, some people think I'm nuts. Some people think I'm on. Some people think you're right on. Some people.
But here's the thing. Like, I want people to understand. I'm not saying AJ's Tyreek. They're completely 2 different guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. I know what you're saying.
As far as getting a legit number 1, teams will pay. Do you see what DJ Moore? Right. And now, granted, that situation was a little different because it was the first overall pick. They were trying to package something to move up. That's something different. But
right.
My point is, if a team has an opportunity to get themselves a number 1 receiver, they're going to pay. They're going to pay. You're going to get a first round pick for AJ Brown easily.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Better get it right though. I mean, if you move on,
it's a gamble. It's a gamble.
Here's the other problem, Tone. Other than Devontae, you got nothing at that position. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing.
I agree.
We're going to look at, back or buy, which is who's going to come back, who's going to go buy.
And again, I want to make it clear. I'm not talking about this offseason.
Yeah.
And again, I want to make it clear that this is not what I want to happen.
Right.
But I believe that they're considering all options. And I believe AJ Brown is one of those options.
There's a lot of smoke around AJ moving on. But you're saying it won't be this offseason.
It won't be. I don't think it'll be this offseason. And I don't think it'll be because of him. I think it's going to be a simple business transaction. That's
Here's the other tough part. Like, just say AJ, goes off again next season. I don't mean go off like acting. I mean, like, has a great season. That's going to be a tough sell to the fan base to trade him.
Of course it is. It always is. A guy like that, it always is. But again, I just, I look at it like this. Jalen Hurts has to elevate himself beyond AJ Brown.
Yeah.
He has to.
Yep.
This year he was too dependent on that man. The coaches were too dependent on him. I'll put it that way because I think Hurts was only throwing the ball where he was told.
It's one of the things that Kellen Moore's got to do, and part of it is you better get him some help too. Like it can't, you got to get a third receiver who can play, not Quez Watkins or.
That's why they have to draft well. They have to draft well because look, when I think about these top tiers, when I think about these top teams, right, that are legitimately competing. They don't have the weapons Jalen Hurts has. Like Baltimore, they don't have one receiver better than AJ Brown or Devontae Smith.
No.
They don't have one.
No.
The Bills, Stephon Diggs, and then
Diggs is on the downside.
He's on the downside. So you get what I'm saying? The Browns, right? Amari Cooper, then
I'll take AJ over Amari. Amari Cooper's good, but I'll take AJ Brown.
Right. But overall, my point is, most of the time, most of these teams, when you're trying to fill out the rest of your roster so you can be a more formidable foe, you can't. The Eagles are so heavy on the offensive side as far as money spent, personnel. They got to balance that out. And the person that's going to give you the most value or the most return is probably AJ Brown on that side of the ball.
All right.
And again, I like AJ Brown. I like him.
Yeah.
But it's something that could be in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, I got you. All right. Keep that. Just tuck that one away. We'll see what ends up happening there. All right.
I can't believe you.
So when we come back, we're gonna do a couple things. Where do the Eagles rank right now in the NFC? Where do they rank right now in your estimation? And we're gonna look at the 5 most critical improvements that they need to make. We'll do all that. We're going to do back and buy when it comes to free agents at 12 o'clock. We got a lot in store for you. So you don't want to go anywhere. That's Tone. Nobody's getting traded right now. I'm Tone. I'm Tone. He's Rob. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. Happy Tuesday. All right, let's talk about Bravo Pizza of Havertown. Yes, Bravo Pizza of Havertown. Thrilled that they are a part of the show. Family owned since 1985. You got Alex and the crew in there each and every day. Just putting together the best variety of food you could possibly have. They offer 20 different styles of pizza. They have slices to go. They have the specialized pizza. However you want it made, they'll make it. They don't just do pizza, though. They have fresh pasta, sandwiches, wraps, wings, salads. Bravo Pizza of Havertown is also committed to the community. They have fundraisers for charities, schools, little leagues, where the proceeds go to those organizations. You could follow them at the Bravo Pizza of on Instagram and Facebook for daily specials and promotions. They're located at 1305 Westchester Pike, Manoa Shopping Center in Havertown, 1305 Westchester Pike, Manoa Shopping Center in Havertown. Give them a call, 610-446-3810, 610-446-3810. Here's a little more on Bravo Pizza of Havertown.
I remember getting my heart broken when they lost the Super Bowl in 2004. We're big Eagles fans. We moved to South Philly because of the Eagles. When they won, we went straight to Broad Street, and everybody was going nuts over there, and it was just a memory that you'll never forget.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their Fantasy Pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the sports betting show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Back. Tone. That's Tone. I'm Rob. Sometimes I get confused. I might start using name tags just to remind myself. Hope everybody's doing well out there.
Hey, listen, while we were on break,
yeah,
I just wanted to look up to see how the Chiefs leveraged the Tyreek Hill trade. You know, what they got in return. How did they use those picks? Right.
Yeah.
And with the Tyreek Hill trade, the Chiefs were able to leverage that into Trent McDuffie, a cornerback who's been super productive for them. Stud.
Yep.
Sky Moore, a guy that they use.
Solid. Yeah.
It's okay. They use him. They try to get the ball to him, but still not a world beater. Rashee Rice, a guy that was their primary number one wide receiver.
He's turned into an excellent receiver. Yep.
He's I think he put up about just over 900 yards receiving this year. He was the leading wide receiver. It turned into a D tackle, Keandre Coburn, and they still have a 2024 5th-round pick that they had to use out of that deal, and it also turned into offensive lineman Darian Kennard, a rotational guy for them. So they were able to get something out of the biggest name out of that. Obviously, is Trent McDuffie, and he is a huge part of their defense and what they do. Spagnuolo uses him all over the place. He sends him in blitz packages. He plays the slot, plays the outside. Trent McDuffie is a weapon for them. So, I don't know.
Nice job out of Brett Veach. Yeah, I mean, he turned all that into some pretty quality players. I would hope if they move on from one of these guys that Howie can do the same. I would hope so. I mean, I always worry a little bit, Tone, about the unknown. I mean, I know what AJ Brown is. I don't know.
They drafted George Karlaftis as well. You know, so that was look, man, this is in sports. It's all about cost and benefit, right? Mm-hmm. It's all about getting a return on your investment. And in business, you got to take some risk. Everybody's not going to be on board with it, but
I'm just trying to think how many of those kind of trades
pan out normally.
No, not that. Has Howie made? How many of those kind of trades has Howie made?
Oh, that's a good question. How many of those kind of trades?
Where you're moving a guy who's still potentially in his prime, Pro Bowl, caliber player.
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure, but these kind of trades happen all the time. We've seen them more lately with like quarterbacks, right? We've seen Russell Wilson get traded to Denver. Seattle flipped that into Devin Witherspoon, Tyreek Woolen.
It was a good trade.
Kenneth Walker. They flipped Russell Wilson into their whole rebuild, which worked out for them. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers, they traded him. They flipped him and they turned him into an entire rebuild. That team is a young defense, but they play well. Young offensive weapons, but they play well. I'm just trying to give the Philadelphia Eagles a fighting chance at getting back to the Super Bowl. That's all I'm trying to do.
I got you.
That's my ultimate goal.
All right. Interesting. Definitely food for thought. For sure. All right. Let's take a look at this. So I ranked the top 6 teams in the NFC.
Top 6.
I did 6. I know it's random.
No, it's fine.
I did 6 because the Eagles.
I stopped at 10.
All right. The reason I did that is because I had the Eagles at 6. That's why I stopped.
Okay, got you.
Well, I'll go first, and I'll just throw you kind of what I have here. You tell me.
Okay.
Tell me what you think here. All right. So I had the Eagles 6th, as I said. I have the Rams 5. I have the Cowboys 4. I have the Packers 3, Lions 2, 49ers 1. So I go Niners, Lions, Packers, Cowboys, Rams, Eagles. Now, I could easily, like 4 through 6 to me is pretty interchangeable. You're talking about, 3 teams that all bowed out in the first round. Dallas perennially comes up small in the playoffs. The Eagles did this year, but that, we're in the Super Bowl last year, and the Rams look like a team that's gotten their mojo back and are climbing. So I don't think the other 3 are really that disputable, 3 through 1. But tell me where you fall with this.
So at number 1, I have the Niners. At number 2, I have the Lions. At number 3, I'm still putting the Cowboys slightly better than the Packers. I understand the Packers did what they did to them, and that it's no disputing what they did to them in the playoffs. But it's also on par with who the Cowboys are in the playoffs. So I don't think the Packers broke a trend, right? Nonetheless, though, I think the Cowboys are 3. I got the Packers 4. I got the Rams 5, Bucks 6, Eagles 7, Seahawks 8, Saints 9, Vikings 10.
Interesting. Okay. I know the Bucks beat the Eagles, but I think the Bucks take a step back next year. Some of this is projection, I guess, in fairness.
Okay.
If you're just looking at it like the Bucks knocked the Eagles off, the Bucks should be ahead of the Eagles for sure. But yeah. All right, go 1 through where you have the Eagles one more time.
So Niners 1, Lions 2, Cowboys 3, Packers 4, Rams 5, Bucks 6, Eagles 7.
Okay, well, give me your logic again with the Packers and the Cowboys.
So for me, right?
You think it's just like a playoff thing?
So the Cowboys perennially lose in the first round of the playoffs. They're not a playoff team by definition. They don't do well in those situations, right? Yeah. So I personally feel like anybody could have caught them in that moment. Anybody.
Okay.
It's just so the Packers were on the docket. I look at it like this. I believe if the Packers and the Cowboys played 10 times, I think the Cowboys will win 6 out of those matchups or 7 out of those matchups. I just think from top to bottom, I think the Cowboys just have a better roster. The Packers are younger. They're spunkier. They're pesky. They're up and coming. But I think the Cowboys still are just more talented than them. I just think the Packers caught a dead dog, and that's my logic. I just think the Cowboys are just more talented overall. Even though, again, I know the Packers starched them. I completely understand that, but teams lose to inferior teams all the time. It happens. And then when it comes, and now someone might say, well, how do you have the Bucks ahead of the Eagles then? Right? How does that make sense?
Yeah.
And my logic for that is the Eagles defense is so bad. And the way that offense looked, I just can't put them ahead of the Bucks. I just can't. I think the Bucks just look better, play better. I think they're better defensively. I think they're better coached right now until further notice. Mm-hmm. I just think and then they played them so long ago in week 3, week 4. It's just like the Bucks were a totally different team. Same thing with the Eagles. The Eagles right now, they easily were the worst team in the playoffs on the NFC side, easily. So
they were.
It's just hard for me to say they're better than anybody.
Change is coming. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it's just hard. Their defense is so bad.
I think Tampa limped in, and I know they beat the Eagles, but I feel like they're stepping back. I guess I like Green Bay a little bit more than you.
And look, it's only one spot, 3 and 4. I mean, it's not like I have the Packers at like 8 or 9, right? I just think the Cowboys just have a slightly better roster. Mm-hmm. Have a slightly better roster.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So I think we're not all that far off where we have the Eagles, though, which is, look, to me, a quality offseason gets them ahead of the Rams. I think a quality offseason gets them around 3, where the only 2 you could say for certain are the Niners and the Lions ahead of them. with a quality offseason. But that's what some serious stuff happening. Like Howie needs to go on a heater, meaning he has got to hit a lot of different things. Not just one, not just two, but he's got to hit a lot in the draft and free agency. And he's got to. I think they have $28 million in cap space, but they're going to have to do some things in terms of extensions and whatnot to be able to really maneuver here.
There's this offseason, I believe he's going to have to. I don't think we're going to see that much free agent movement for the Eagles. I think it's going to be a lot of drafting. Maybe a guy sprinkled here and there, but for the most part, they got to hit in his draft. They need to reinvigorate the foundation of this team. The foundation of any football team is your draft picks, and that's your free agents. Those are the hired guns. Those are the mercenaries, right? But when it comes to the guys you draft, that's the foundation of your roster. That's the sign of a good team and a bad team, right? Regardless, even if you're going at the free agents or not, you're only going to be so bad if you're hitting on your draft picks and you have a solid foundation. The Eagles on defense, especially, they have not really established a solid foundation amongst DBs they've drafted, linebackers they've drafted. You could debate the D-line because of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. We don't know what Nolan Smith is yet. But overall, I think the Philadelphia Eagles need to, completely refurbish the foundation.
I agree
of that defense, and I think that gets done in the draft.
Well, let's swing into that then. Let's look at 5 most critical improvements needed. If I'm going 1, Tone, and I'm working my way down, I'll start with 1. If you can get Hurts back to elite 2022 Hurts, he'll cover up a lot of warts. If you lose Kelsey and maybe the defensive line isn't as good, he'll cover up a lot of warts if your defense isn't anywhere near what it needs to be. He'll cover up a lot of warts, period, if you can get him right. I would say that's the biggest thing. And this is team-wise, Kellen Moore-wise, Nick-wise, whatever. Get him back. Get him back. It fixes a lot of things. House looks a lot prettier if he's doing his thing.
It's true. Okay.
So I'd have that at 1. I'd have D-line QB pressure / run stuffing. Basically, D-line start playing like you're paid and where you were drafted to play. They need to be much better. So I would go with that number 2. So I'm kind of toggling, Kellen Moore and then Vic Fangio. Number 3, I would go ability to adapt / make adjustments for the coaching staff. I felt like last year they were predictable and they never, ever, ever swung off of what their initial concept was going into a game. Number 4, easier said than done. Play better on the back end. That is a long list here. That's 2 corners. That's maybe 3 corners. That's two safeties or maybe at least 1 safety. They got to be better. And all I'm looking for number 5 is solid, not great, solid linebacker play. Just can't be a sieve. I think it's asking too much to get solid.
No, I don't think it's asking for too much, especially given the fact that they've been so abysmal at that position. They can stand to be a little better. You know what I'm saying? To piggyback off of your list, for me, because I thought about doing it in as far as importance, like 1 being the most important. I know you have Hurts being 1. I have Hurts at 5 as far as my list of importance because even though he had a turbulent 2023 campaign, I trust him to take care of his business. So he's not somebody that I stress about right now. Just not right now. Am I concerned? Sure, but I'm not losing sleep over Jalen Hurts because I have this inclination that he's going to get back on track.
But my logic is how important he is.
Right.
He's
right.
To get shifted into the
no, I understand. I understand completely. It's important, regardless of how you slice it. Right. It's extremely important that Jalen Hurts gets back to MVP form without a shadow of a doubt. But at number 1, I had the D line because I'm thinking, I guess for me, I'm thinking about where this Philadelphia Eagles team surprised us or failed the most.
Right.
And I think that D-line failed us more than anybody else.
I agree.
And because they're so integral to the success of an entire side of the ball, they had to get better. They have to get healthier. They have to get more in shape. However you want to slice it, whatever you felt like you saw throughout the season, they had to improve there. If that defense has any chance of getting back to at least top 12 form. Then after that, I have the linebacker play. The linebacker play has been lackluster. Howie Roseman can lean on those Super Bowl years all he wants about the linebacker play, but the problem is you can't sustain it, or you refuse to invest in it after you've gotten quality play from it. That's why when people go above and beyond for Nakobe Dean, I kind of scratch my head because I say to myself, y'all realize he's not going to get a second contract, right?
Yeah.
So why do y'all even care? You know what I'm saying? He's not going to get the second contract. That's not what the Philadelphia Eagles do. They found a guy in TJ Edwards that was undrafted, and they developed him. They found him on draft day or the day after. What difference does it make? A 7th-round pick, undrafted guy? They're all the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You develop that guy, you let him walk. So I'm supposed to believe that they're going to all of a sudden change their mantra with Nakobe Dean. I'm not jumping off a cliff on Nakobe Dean. So they have to improve the way they approach that position, period.
I just don't want him given anything. I want him to have to earn it.
And that's my thing. I don't want anything. And you just gave me another point why TJ Edwards was the guy, because he wasn't given nothing. He had to prove it every step of the way. He was one of the better linebackers in college. I think he went to Wisconsin, right? He was one of the better linebackers in college. I think he was the runner up behind TJ Watt, I believe it was. I can't remember, or was it Bosa? I don't know. He was the runner up behind one of those guys for the Chuck Bednarik Award. The only reason he didn't get drafted is because of a 40-yard dash. His 40-yard dash was horrible, but that's why he didn't get drafted. Nonetheless, he was one of the top tier linebackers. You found him, you developed him, and then you let him walk after he has his best year. Make it make sense. So yeah, they got to change the way they look at that position. So that was my number 2. Linebacker play has to improve. My number 1 was the D line. Number 3, they got to get younger at DB. It's from a starting perspective. They got to get younger. I mean, they did draft Kelly Ringo. They got Eli Ricks out there. They got Josh Jobe. They got some young guys. They got Zach McPherson. They got some young guys that they're interested in.
Yeah.
But none of those guys are slam dunks. All those guys still have quirks in their game that they have to work out. But I think they need to go high value pick in this draft when it comes to the cornerback. They got to get younger at DB. Kevin Byard is not the answer. They need somebody back there with some more athleticism next to Reed Blankenship or Sidney Brown, whoever's going to be out there. Sidney Brown has to get healthy first. They have some prospects back there that are interesting.
Yeah,
I'll say that to say the least. They're interesting. Keely Ringo, I'm fascinated by
he's the most interesting of the young guys for me.
He's interesting.
Size, you know, there's a lot there.
He has to be. He has to get a little more looser in those hips. Sometimes he can be a little flat-footed. You know, after once the wide receiver stems the route, he can be a little flat-footed. But other than that, he's fascinating. So, like you said, the size, the athleticism, the length. I'm interested. Sidney Brown, I'm fascinated by him. Right? Eli Ricks, I'm hot and cold on him. Josh Jobe, same, hot and cold. Zach McPherson, hot and cold.
Yeah.
But overall, I think right now on this roster, their top 2 prospects in the defensive back room is Sidney Brown and Keely Ringo. They need to add in another couple guys in there to stoke that fire some more. I think they should go DB in the first round. That's what I believe.
Yep. I do too. I do too.
So yeah, I think they need to get younger there and just improve there. So that's my number 3. My number 4, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has to get back in the lab. He had entirely way too many turnovers this season. It was sad to watch because no one expected him to turn the ball over 20 times or 19 times if we're splitting hairs. But 15 interceptions, four fumbles lost, or 14 interceptions, 5 fumbles lost. Do the math on your own.
Yeah.
He has to be better. Period. He has to get better with his feet. I wasn't really a fan of his feet. This season I felt like he drifted too much.
His mechanics definitely suffered.
Yeah,
no question.
And for me, it was really about the feet. And quarterbacks are built from the feet up, not from the top down. He just seemed to drift when he dropped back,
especially with the blitz. He fell into the habit of always going to his right and drifting rather than climbing the pocket. Like one step up in the pocket, if these guys are coming hard at you from the left and the right, is a game changer. You see it with guys who don't have the mobility that Hurts has.
It is a game changer.
And they make a living out of it. And it's something he's really struggled at last year. Pocket mechanics.
And here's the thing, right? What concerns me now is, because there are some guys who are able to defy their physical limitations from a height perspective. Drew Brees, in his throwing motion, he always ended up on his tippy. He always ended up on his tippy toes, at the top of his throw. Jalen Hurts, he's on the shorter side. He's like 6'1", 6'2", something like that. I think 6 feet maybe. He's basically my height. I met him in person. He's my height without cleats. So, he's going to have to do whatever it takes to feel confident enough to step up in that pocket and to make sure his passes don't get batted down. I think that's something he thinks about. Stepping up. He's shorter. Guys may bat those passes down, not throwing in the middle. I think that gets him a little skittish. He has to improve there and get more confident in that pocket and trust his ability and trust that guys are going to get open. So he has a few things to work on this offseason. Don't get it twisted. So Jalen Hurts, that's my number 4. And my number 5 is coaching. They're already on the fast track to try to work that out. Bring in Kellen Moore, you bring in Vic Fangio, Clint Hurt, Carl Scott, right? So, we'll see how this thing pans out. I'm not going to say those hires are slam dunks. I'm not going to say they're awful hires either. I'm going to say so far, very interesting. We'll see. We'll see how it goes from there.
A lot of experience. They have definitely gone. They've gone way far from the youngsters. Like between Fangio and these guys, Clint Hurt and Carl Scott. These are experienced dudes on that side of the ball for sure. Yep.
Yeah. So 1, D-line production, 3, linebacker play, 4, get younger at defensive back. Jalen Hurts, mechanics, and number 6. Or number 5, coaching. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. All right. Good list there. All right. So when we come back, we'll continue with the Eagles discussion, and we're going to look at free agents here, guys who could potentially walk, and we'll do the back or buy. Will you bring them back? Will they come back, or will they go bye-bye? We'll do all that when we return. Don't go anywhere. Let's talk about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, because knowing who to trust with your finances is imperative, right? And I was right there at the front of the line for a very long time, but I found the right person in Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, and they can be great for you like they're great for me, whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. You might have a small business with employee benefits that you need help kind of kicking off and you're not really sure how to go about that. They can help you with that as well. I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollovers with Jim, and I couldn't be any happier. He has also a great wealth of knowledge of resources for you if you have any questions regarding, what's going on with your investments. What about something you may be looking at? Hey, I'm confused by this. What's happening here? What I see a trend. He's always available to answer any questions that you have. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can also email him as well, Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
They're carving them up And good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
We are back. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Tone and Rob. Rob and Tone. We're not really sure who's who anymore at this point on this Tuesday. All right, let's look at it, Tone. I didn't hit every single free agent here. Just, you know, the ones of consequence. Okay, some of the the names that we all know. I'm not going into the fourth string offensive linemen or stuff like that. But let me throw some at you. All right, let's with the premise too that we don't know what Kelsey's going to do. He's a free agent. We've been over the Kelsey thing a million times. It's up to him. If he wants to come back, he'll come back. If he doesn't, he won't. Okay. All right. So there's that. But let's just do that for a second there. What's your gut telling you? I still think he retires, but what's your gut telling you?
I have this strange inkling that he's going to find his way back to the Philadelphia Eagles locker room and still be one of our elder statesmen. I'm rolling with Kelsey coming back. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I feel like the longer he waits, the higher the likelihood he comes back.
Okay.
Because if his mind was made up, we would know by now. It's been what, 2 weeks since they lost that game? 3 weeks?
Yeah, 15 days, whatever. Yeah.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We would know something.
Boy, does it feel like longer, something. By the way. Oh, my God, does it feel like longer. But anyway.
Okay, when did he let us know last year? Do you remember?
I want to say.
Was it okay? Was it before it was before the draft?
Oh,
it had to be
100%. I think it was.
Was it before the combine?
Early March.
Was it after the Super Bowl?
Actually, it was at the combine. Do you remember Howie was on the New Heights podcast? He made the announcement and they did shots. Do you remember that?
Right. Yes, I do remember that.
It was at the combine. Yeah.
Yes.
So, combine's coming up right after the Super Bowl.
He has plenty of time to make that decision, obviously, but
it'll be early February. It'll be early to mid February.
I think he's coming. I think he's coming back. I do.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
He's too damn good at his job. Come on, man.
I don't. Real quick on what Shane has here. He's Devontae Smith projected to get 5 years, $29 million. He's not getting $29 million a year.
No, he's not getting that.
He's not getting that. I believe me, he's really good. He's not getting that much. But interesting thought, because it does play to what we were talking about earlier. Can you pay both of those guys? And it's going to be incredibly expensive to try to do so.
Actually, I was looking up his market value now on Spot Rack or Spotrac, however you want to label it. According to Spot Track, his average annual salary market value, his estimated average annual salary come contract time is $19.9 million.
Yeah,
that sounds more reasonable. That sounds more realistic.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, because
you can load that up with bonuses too. You can do things to lower the yearly cap number also.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick before we continue. AJ Brown's getting $25 million a year. You think Smitty commands below that?
I do.
On par with that? I think Smitty's going to be between 20 and 25 million. That's what I think.
I think he's below it, not a ton below it though.
Yeah,
I think he's below it, but yeah, I mean, not by a super long stretch.
Chris Godwin's getting 20 million.
He's better than Chris Godwin.
Okay,
but I'll tell you, Tampa's got a tough decision because Godwin's making 20. Mike Evans is now a free agent. He's a stone cold free agent. Like that's going to be. Mike Evans can still play, man. Like, that would be a massive hit to them if he leaves, and it feels like he's going to be leaving.
Yeah. But yeah, Devontae's, he's going to get paid, but they're not paying two wide receivers north of 20 million. I don't see that.
Yeah,
anyway,
I don't think so either. All right, so Kelsey. All right, so that's where we're at, Kelsey. All right, let's go Fletcher Cox. Fletcher made 10 last year. He was their most consistent defensive lineman in the pass, in the run, even at 32, 33 years old and playing increased snaps.
I think Cox comes back.
I think it's going to be a raise.
Remember the first time
15.
The first time, okay, so the first time they re-upped him on the 1-year deal was 14 million. Then this past season it was 10 million.
Yeah, he's had a better year this past year than he had the year before going into that one.
You think this season was better than the Super Bowl?
I do. I do actually. Yeah.
Let me just.
I think he had 7 sacks.
Are you sure? Are you sure you're not just saying that because everybody else was so bad around?
No, I think he was good, man. Like, and I think he was good all around. Like, I think he was good in the. I'm not telling you anybody was spectacular. He was good in the run game. He was good in the pass game. I think he can get in the neighborhood of 12.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he gets around. I think he gets between 11 and 13.
Okay.
So
buy that.
Okay, and so going into the 2022 season, they re-upped him for 14 million, right? In that 2022 campaign, he put up through 17 games played, 43 total tackles, 7 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and he also had let's see here. Yep, that was it. And then in 2023, through 15 games played, 33 total tackles, 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 2 pass deflections. So those seasons are pretty similar. Obviously, there's a sack difference. But overall, though, I mean, they paid him 14 for 2022. They paid him 10 for 2023. The production did technically go down. He's going to get somewhere between 10 and 14. I think that's the range for him.
And the question is, where do the Eagles draw the line? Because somebody else will give him that.
Hey, shoot, somebody might give him more.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's back. I'm going to say he's back.
I think he's back too.
Okay.
Oh, sidebar. I'm seeing an ad. I'm seeing a pickleball slam ad, Rob.
That's right. Get on board, Tone. That's all I can tell you. Get on.
It's going to be on ESPN on Sunday.
We have plenty of room. Yeah, it's going to be McEnroe. A lot of the old school guys like.
Oh wow, you really know this? Yep, McEnroe and
Sharapova. Yes.
What the hell?
Come on, man.
Are you really like this entrenched?
I love it, man. I love it. I got to get you on board, man. You come back to town, you're going to play.
Yeah. Give me about 10 or 15 birthdays. I got you.
It is not just an older people's game. That's all I would tell you. But it mostly is. No. All right. So let's go BG. This one sucks, but I don't think he's going to be back.
Yeah,
shame.
This one hurts, but he's not coming back. I love BG. I love his character. I love the personality, man. Love what he brought to the table on the field. Love the tenacity. The leadership. He personified Philadelphia, but he's gone.
Yep,
he's gone.
Yeah,
and honestly, you know what I think? I think if he can't get back to Philly, I think he just retires. I don't see him uprooting his family, taking him to another city. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I it's like, I know he really wants to play 15 years. He mentions that, quite a bit. Is it really worth it to end up playing for maybe some potentially bad team just to say I got my 15th end? I don't know. I mean, that's up. He's earned every right to do whatever he wants. But here's what I do know. A, he's got a job with the Eagles if he wants it, and B, he'll have a job in the media if he wants it. I mean, it's Brandon Graham will more than land on his feet if he wants to. I'm awake. So or I'm awake. Are you? As he says, Detroit. Maybe, maybe he goes back and plays in his hometown. That's possible. Yeah, it's not crazy. Not crazy.
Also, through 14 seasons, he's made a lot of money, man.
He's not hurting for coin.
14 seasons, his total earnings, $93.7 million.
Yeah,
throughout his whole career.
Brandon doesn't strike me as a guy who's spending his money frivolously either. So
and also his wife, his wife strikes me as the kind of woman that's very accountable and responsible, and she holds down the fort for sure.
No question.
So
I got you.
I think Brandon Graham is I think he retires if he can't come back to Philadelphia.
I think you're right. All right, let's run through some of the linebackers here. I'm okay if Zach Cunningham comes back. I'm okay. I mean, like, again,
you're okay if he comes back, or do you think he's coming back? That's the difference?
I think the way Howie went out of his way to praise him, I think they make a real attempt to bring him back. Yeah.
Howie better be careful. You don't want to talk him up too much and price yourself out of him.
Yeah, but he played well enough where I'm okay with him.
He was definitely their best linebacker. But again, remember I said this to you before.
No, this falls into what you were saying earlier. Yeah. Is he the best of a bad lot? Yes, he was the best of a bad lot. Right. Well, I'm saying, like, if he's like your number 2 next year, or a depth guy, yeah, I'm okay there. I look, I'm not paying him a lot of money.
Yeah. If he's my third linebacker, I'm okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I can do a lot worse at my third linebacker.
That's where I'm at with him. So. As far as the rest of these guys, Nicholas Morrow, I know you led the team in tackles. Bye-bye. Shaq Leonard, it's sad, but it's unfortunate, but it's over. And it's not going to happen here. Sean Bradley, if you get him back for like a league minimum to still play special teams, I mean, okay, but I'm fine if you move on there too.
He's coming off of the tear.
Yeah, Achilles.
He's knowing if I got this thing right in my mind, his representation is going to do everything possible to try to get him back to this roster because they know him best.
This is a special team. Like, this isn't a guy you even count on for anything else.
Yeah, he may end up a special team spot, vying for a roster spot come season time. It all depends. But he's not somebody that's going to move the needle.
He's not a priority signing. Let me put it to you this way. If he's back, he's going to be, it'll be a later move after you've taken care of some of the front line sort of stuff there. All right, let's put it that way. So what would I give it a 50-50? Yeah, I give it a 50-50. He's back. Somewhere around there. All right, let's jump to some defensive backs here. I believe, Tone, that the Eagles have the opt-out for Kevin Byard. I believe that that's the case.
Yeah, so what happened was they restructured his contract to the point where they're able to completely get out of, like, they don't owe him any money this year.
See ya. Bye-bye. Can't play anymore. I'm good. Move on. Where you at?
I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
I'm ready to move on for sure. Braden Mann, our punter, he's coming back.
My man comes back. I'm not messing with special teams.
He's coming back.
100%. No, you solidified punter. You know, after the years that we had to suffer with Sippos. No, I'm in. Justin Evans, bye-bye. Can't stay healthy. Got to go.
Yep.
Bradley Roby. See ya.
Bye. He's out.
No, thank you. Anybody else? I mean, that's kind of all I went through on the defensive side.
Quez on the offensive
no,
side.
Well, I'm going offense. Yeah, I'm going offense.
Oh, you were okay. I got you. All right.
Yeah, let's go there then. Let's start with the big names. Let's go DeAndre Swift. 1,049 yards, 5 touchdowns, Pro Bowl.
He's out.
Yeah.
As of right now, Spot Track has his estimated market value at $6.7 million per year. Miles Sanders got $6.3 million per year. So if they wasn't paying Miles Sanders, what makes you think they're going to pay Swifty? You think they're giving DeAndre Swift 4 years, $27 million?
No, I agree with you. If he in fact gets that somewhere on the open market, God bless him. Who's paying that though anymore? Like Miles Sanders was a mistake. You know
Miles Sanders is kind of ruined it for some guys. He kind of
I know, and that props to his agent, by the way. I don't know how he got that deal. When
he was the
running
only
backs are getting paid, really.
Yeah, he was the only running back to really get, a decent payday. He signed a 4-year, $25.4 million deal, and $13 million of it fully guaranteed. So, yeah, Miles Sanders, he made out pretty well. Here's the crazy thing about it though. So far, in total cash, Miles Sanders has earned $12.3 million in total cash. He still has some money left over on that Panthers deal. Obviously, that hasn't made its way in yet. But as of right now, so far, he's made $12.3 million. If everything bodes well in that Carolina deal, if he plays the whole thing out, he would have had an estimated career earnings of $30.7 million. Not bad.
Good for him. So that's a second rounder too, like at running back. Again, props to the agent. That's a good haul. All right, let me give you this one. Interesting, and I actually like this move for the Steelers. According to Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, the Steelers are expected to hire Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator. Steelers. That's a good move, I think.
Wasn't he the OC in Tennessee?
He was. So he goes there. We'll talk about them later, but I still think, despite what they're all sort of doing this. Yeah, we like Kenny Pickett. I think they're going after a quarterback some way, shape, or form, be it draft or a trade or something. Like I don't think it's going to be Kenny Pickett as their starting quarterback next year.
Kenny Pickett is not the answer.
No.
At all.
He's
also a sidebar really quickly, since we were talking about the running back money.
Yeah.
With Swift. So far throughout his career, DeAndre Swift has earned $8.6 million.
He's got to get as much as he can get. Yeah.
That's basically why I said that. He has to get as much money as possible when you compare it to a guy like Miles Sanders, who so far has made about $12 million, and if everything blows well with the contract, he'll make about $30 throughout his whole career. Or at least throughout the length of the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. DeAndre Swift, he's a running back. Go get your money, player.
I mean, especially there's no more critical contract than the second contract for a running back.
He's not gonna have a better chance. He's not gonna, this in my opinion, this is DeAndre Swift's best chance to whack the market.
Yeah. Because after that, you're doing like hang on contracts if you're a running back, because you're pushing 30 at that point.
Now, here's another part that may throw a monkey wrench in everything, right? Here's one thing. In 2024, when it comes to running backs and free agents, there's Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Cordell Patterson, Gus Edwards, Ezekiel Elliott, Devin Singletary, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift, Damian Harris, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, Kareem Hunt, A.J. Dillon. All those running backs are free agents. Latavius Murray. This running back market is huge.
Yeah. So here's what you do if you're Howie. you say to DeAndre, go play the field. Just come back to us before you do anything. We'll talk. And you watch how the field plays out for the others. Like, we may not know who the Eagles starting running back is going to be until like close to camp. I'm not kidding. Because if some of these guys who you just mentioned, who still have gas left in the tank, aren't getting good offers out there, that's when Howie swoops in and gets them for a 1 or 2 year deal to come back.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of these guys are between the age of 24 and 30.
Yeah. Kind of a magic number at that point, at that position. All right. Marcus Mariota, I don't think he's back. I think they just roll with Tanner McKee, and it's cheaper.
Yeah, it is cheaper. I wouldn't be surprised if they find somebody else, maybe free agency, that's super cheap as well. Or they may draft a guy. You never know. But I think they do roll with Tanner McKee. I like Tanner McKee. I'm curious to see how he continues to develop. I like his size. I like his instincts at the position. He throws a beautiful back shoulder pass.
Yep.
That was kind of his signature throughout the preseason. That was like his most successful pass. So yeah, I'm definitely.
I was surprised. I know it was a preseason. He looked better than I thought he was going to look.
He looked way better. He looked better than I thought he was going to look. He moved better than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, preseason, but I put more stock in the preseason than most people.
Yeah.
So I think Tanner McKee's an interesting prospect, an interesting guy to continue to build on.
Okay. Let's go. I think one's obvious. One could be back. Let's go with running backs here. We'll start with Boston Scott, and then we'll go Rashad Penny. Let's go Boston Scott.
I think we've seen the last of Boston Scott in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I
think this is the last hurrah. Boston Scott is a guy that I've always loved, but as of right now, he's 28 years old. His estimated market value is $1.5 million per season on a 1-year deal. So he may catch on somewhere. Somebody may bring him on and have him compete, and he has a chance to make a roster. You never know, but I don't think he comes back. The fact that he's been able to hang around the league for as long as he has is truly amazing. Throughout his entire career, Boston Scott has made $6.2 million to date. So look, man, to do a job for about 5 or 7 years, 5-6 years, and you make out with $6 million out of it,
beats a real job.
Man,
yeah,
it beats what we're doing.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, he the other problem he has is he is a pretty decent kick returner. The only problem is there's so few kickoffs that you actually field and return. Like if this was 5-6 years ago, that added value that he has there with that skill set would have been much more valuable for him than it is now. And
then the Eagles really didn't use him this year, so he didn't really get a chance to really show or prove his value.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think he finds a job, but I don't know if it's in Philadelphia.
I agree. All right, I think we're both agreed. We don't need to put much time into this one. Rashad Penny. Yes.
Hey, listen, where do you normally find pennies these days?
Yeah.
In the couch, near a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
Penny.
Yeah.
I don't even know why he was here.
Nobody does. Nobody knows why he was taking
one of the greatest kept secrets.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the receivers. This is where it gets interesting. I'm good if all three of these are bye-bye, but Quez Watkins, let's start there. Done. Dunzo. Goodbye.
Dunzo. Finito.
All right. Let's go Olamide Zaccheaus. I just didn't show
I like
much.
him, but I don't think he comes back. I like him though. He didn't get enough opportunities.
Yeah, some of this may be a little bit unfair to him just because he didn't get shots. Like they just didn't give him a shot in certain ways.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna make sure I got his numbers right. Olamide Zaccheaus this season, he only had 20 targets. He had 20 targets and caught 10 of them. He did the most of what he could. He had 2 touchdowns. He had some big touchdowns too. They were key. One came in that Bucs game earlier in the year when the Eagles offense was kind of struggling, and they managed to get some points up, and that's where they kind of took off from there. And then he obviously had his best catch I've ever seen in that Eagles Bills game.
Yeah.
So
Phenomenal, phenomenal.
He's going to catch on somewhere. This year was one of his worst years as far as production because
he was better in Atlanta.
He was way better in Atlanta because he was the guy in Atlanta. There was no one else there.
Yeah.
I think Drake London got hurt, so he had one of his best years last year. 17 games played, 61 targets, 40 receptions, 533 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's going to catch on somewhere. I also think the Philadelphia Eagles don't get enough out of that wide receiver 3 position, regardless of who's there. But I do like OZ. He's a high effort guy in the run game. I like him, but I don't know if he comes back.
All right. Julio, great career,
Who?
Hall of Famer. Thanks.
Oh, Julio,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Time to move on. You got to get younger there.
That's done. You got to get younger. That's done.
Yep. All right. Tight end Albert O. I mean, we never saw anything out of him. It's whatever. All right. Let's go offensive line. There's 2 guys in particular that are.
Hey, what about my man Jack Stoll? Jack Stoll's
he's restricted, isn't he? I think he's restricted.
Oh, is he restricted?
Pretty sure he's restricted. Yeah, I think he comes back. I mean, he provides. He's a valuable blocker. I mean, there's no question about that. I think he's back.
Yeah, I'm a Jack Stoll guy.
He's not going to cost you a ton either. I mean, so he's dead.
Let's see. Jack Stoll, he is. Make sure I got this unrestricted. There we go. Okay, yeah, you're right. He is. Nope. No, yeah, you're right. He's restricted. Okay. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I would assume he's back. But we'll see. All right, the 2-0 line. I actually like both of these guys' depth. If you bring them back on cheap deals, Driscoll and Opeta. I think they're both fine. I think they're the kind of guys you need. You need Swiss Army knife guys. And Driscoll can move around. He can play guard. He can actually play a little center, and he can play tackle. I'm fine with him. Opeta did okay when he had to jump in a couple times for Juergens. I think ultimately Tyler Steen is your guy if Kelsey moves on and Juergens goes to center. But, you need depth. I would bring them both back.
Yeah, I actually had them both coming back as well. Sue Opeta and Jared Driscoll. You're always going to need your rotational guards and tackles. You can't survive without them. Jared Driscoll and Sue Opeta have a proven track record in Philadelphia of being stabilizing forces. One game in particular, Jack Driscoll really showed up in that Bills game when Lane Johnson couldn't play.
Yep.
So, no, wait, I got that mixed up.
No,
I take that back. That was the Jets game.
It was the Jets, and then he did miss.
He struggled the first series,
That's
and then
right.
after that, he stabilized.
Yeah.
That was
right.
the Jets game. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I mean, am I missing anything? Anybody of note? I think.
No, you pretty much nailed it. I mean, I'm looking at some guys here. We've covered everybody. It's not going to be that many guys coming back here. But obviously the heavy hitters, Kelsey, Fletcher Cox. I think you and I have differing opinions on Kelsey. Kelsey's 36. Fletcher's 33. BG 35. I think Kelsey comes back. You don't. I think Fletcher comes back. You think if he does, it's going to be around 13 million, right? 12, 13?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know, let me put it this way too. Jeffrey Lurie loves Fletcher Cox. Not quite Jason Peters love, but he's a big Fletcher Cox fan.
Yeah. But yeah,
Jason Peters, man, that went on forever. When he was nowhere near the same guy, but man, woo.
Man, Jason Peters, man, that's the Godfather right there, man.
Oh my God, he still played last year. He started Seahawks. Incredible. I mean,
yo, this dude is like, he's like an old Dodge Challenger. You just gotta, it
continues to start every time.
It holds up.
Turn it over. It starts, man. It gets you where you need to go.
It just holds up.
Let's come back and we'll hit some Sixers last night. And I want to tie it into which team is closest to winning a championship. So we'll discuss those things when we get back. Tons of stuff on the NFL to dive into. We also had Doc Rivers making his debut, Ben Simmons returning. So a lot to get to, that's for sure. Let's talk about Pro Action Restoration. If you have a home, you have a business, and you've gone through the pain, the inconvenience of smoke, of water, of fire, of mold damage, you name it, it can be really, really difficult to deal with, right? You're not really equipped for that. But Pro Action Restoration is, and they're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. So anytime you have an issue, you reach out and they will be there for you. They were for me with the water leak that I had coming from upstairs into my downstairs. They took care of everything, and they worked in conjunction with my insurance company. So the price was right. They are licensed, bonded, fully insured, serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action Restoration, again, are the people that you reach out to if you have any issues with water, fire, smoke, damage, mold remediation. They can handle it all and then some. If you're not sure about something that's going on, reach out as well. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Back. What's up? Appreciate you hanging with us on this Tuesday. All right. So let's dive into some Sixers here. Tone. They lose last night to the Blazers 130-104. They had no Embiid, no Maxey. It's their third straight loss. They are 29-16. I don't take a lot from it, to be honest with you. When you're
I was going to say I don't take much from it either.
No, I'm not sweating it. When you're missing those two guys, it's understandable. Harris, just coming back from an illness, didn't provide much either. He was 3 for 9 from the floor, 9 points in 20 minutes. You had some of the role players, Pat Bev, a couple of those guys early were stepping up, and Kelly Oubre were playing well for you. But as the game went on, those guys kind of slowed down a little bit, and then they couldn't get any stops. The Blazers went on a 19-4 run in the third and just kind of ran away with this game. It was I watched it till about midway through the fourth, and then fell asleep basically. So it wasn't much. Wasn't much to write home about.
Yeah, the Blazers have they have a couple players that I like a lot. I love Anthony Simons. He only put up 15 points last night, but I love his game. And Jeremy Grant, he's a guy that I feel like has truly grinded himself into being one of the more reliable wing players in the NBA. The Eagles, I mean, I think the Sixers drafted Jeremy Grant, didn't he?
They did. He played here. Yeah, he played here early part of his career. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The first 3 years. You know, his career trajectory is truly amazing. He truly built himself up. You know, he's now, you know, over the past, I want to say over the past 4 seasons, he's averaged 20 points per game, 22 points per game. He's literally positioned himself to be a legit wing in his league. You know, he grinded, you know, he fought for playing time, all that kind of stuff. But overall, man, he really figured it out in OKC, and then he transitioned to Denver for that 1 season. But I really like Jeremy Grant. Always have.
Yeah, me too. Me too. They have some there's talent there. They need to move on from a couple of veterans. Like they're going to trade Brogdon, who is a good player who can help somebody. He's just not. I don't think he's part of their, future. I didn't understand the DeAndre Ayton trade.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of his, but whatever.
I've never really been a fan of DeAndre Ayton. I mean,
no. But there's talent there for sure. There's young talent there.
Yeah.
No doubt. So the interesting thing is Embiid misses another game. He's now missed 12 altogether, which means when you consider how many games they have left, he can only miss 5 more games, Tone. That's where it is right now. They have 37 games left through the Sixers, and he can only miss 5. So that's to be eligible to win the MVP. They put the rule in the offseason that you have to play at least 65 to be able to win it. This is to try to eliminate some of this load management stuff and guys just taking off, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I don't see it happening personally. I mean, they play again tonight against the Warriors. You think he's going to play tonight? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Embiid's going to sit himself out of the MVP race at this rate. That rule, it's so touch and go. There was a point where I was like, okay, I get it. But then when you really think about it, it's like things happen. And if a guy plays 64 games or 60 games, is he really not the MVP because he only plays 60 and one guy plays 65?
Right.
Like we're splitting hairs there. Now, obviously, if a guy only played 40 games, he shouldn't be the MVP. Like, come on, 40 games. But if a guy plays, I feel like at bare minimum, if a guy plays 60 games, 58 games, he should be in consideration for the MVP, right?
I know. Like to me, I feel
like I go back and forth.
I can't contradict myself because I'm one who's always screaming about this, guys just taking off all the time in the NBA.
That's true.
And they're trying to do something to curb it a little bit. So I got to stick by it. Do I want to see Embiid win the MVP? Yeah, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stick by it. I think it's a good rule.
I get it. Listen, I totally understand the rule in theory. It's just gonna be slim pickings by the time the end of the season comes.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I get it though. I get it.
And ultimately, it'll be a shame. He's averaging 36 and almost 11 and a half rebounds. I mean, there's no doubt who the MVP is, but it is what it is. And he keeps saying over and over again, I don't care. I want to win a championship. Good. I hope that's your mindset. I really do. Because he got it last year. He's got the MVP. But there's no question about that. That's where this is all. I see a lot of people in the chat, and I agree. It's like he's got to show up in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what we really care about, right? We care about those playoff performances more than anything.
No doubt. All right, let's go. Little Philly stuff here. Oh, I'm going to pass this along too. I thought this was very cool. Tyrese Maxey, his jersey sales are up to number 9 overall in the NBA. He's 9 and Embiid's 12. Now, you may say at first that's kind of funky, but I think most people who are Embiid fans probably have an Embiid jersey. I would think. I don't know. Maxey's kind of new to this thing, but I like that he's getting some national recognition here.
I like that too. I mean, Maxey has positioned himself to being one of the most promising guards in the NBA. Right now he's playing like a top 10 guard in the NBA right now. That's how he's playing right now. I love the combination with him and Joel Embiid. I love how their skill sets don't intersect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're completely two different players, and they operate so well together. And then you throw in Tobias Harris in that combination. It's a fun trio to watch work. But Maxey, man, I told people about this. You guys thought, Rob, I'm not going to let you off the hook. You and D Gun, you guys said I was crazy about Maxey. You guys
in what way?
Well, you guys felt like he had his limitations. You guys felt like he couldn't really be the one, right? And you guys felt like he was more so a 2.
I still think he's a 2, and I love him. You think he's a 1?
Listen, man, the way I see it, he's playing like he's moving the ball.
Yeah,
he's making the right basketball plays. He's scoring. Listen, remember, this is the new NBA, so there aren't too many prototypical ones anymore.
Yeah.
But for me, he's putting up points. He's distributing the ball. I think he's averaging about 7 assists a game, and he only turns the ball over about once or twice a game. I think his turnover stat is he's averaging 1.6 turnovers a game. Yep, through 42 games played. And he has a 4.2 assist to turnover ratio. For every 4 assists, it's 1 turnover. That's pretty good. So he's averaging, where is it? 6.6 assists per game, 25.7 points. Averaging a steal a game. Come on, man. You know,
man, look, far be it from me to knock in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I'm just teasing.
I love to me, Tyrese Maxey. See, I think in terms of broad appeal, like I think he would really appeal to like a young kid because he's so electric, so fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I'm not surprised one bit that his jersey sales are through the roof.
Yeah, he's such a fun player to root for.
Oh my god,
good dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can definitely see his appeal with the kids.
I'll tell you, man, you talk about, we were discussing this with the Eagles. My man is going to get paid this offseason.
Who, Maxey?
Yes.
Yes, of course. He's going to, what? The Sixers are going to, they have no choice. What do you think he's getting?
Good question. I think he's going to get borderline maxed.
Let's see here. Tyrese Maxey. All right, so let's see. So they don't have anything up right now as far as the market value, estimated market value. But what I can do, I can look up the top salaries and the average salaries for his position. Let's do that. So let's just go with the guards because those guys intersect. So Steph Curry is the highest paid guard in the NBA at $53.8 million a year.
Jesus, 53. Oh my God.
Oh my God. that is wild. When you so I pay more attention to NFL contracts because that's more so where my wheelhouse is.
Yeah.
Every now and again I look at NBA contracts. It's been a while since I really looked at them. NBA contracts are redunculous. Like Stephen Curry, average salary $53.8 million a year. Bradley Beal, $50.2 million per year. Paul George, I think Paul George is a forward, but okay, whatever. Paul George, right now, they got him as a 2 guard here at $44 million. Damian Lillard at $44 million. Trae Young at $43 million. Luka Doncic at $43 million. Zach LaVine at 43. Fred VanVleet at 42. Kyrie Irving at 40. Darius Garland at 39.4. And I think that's where we start to see where Maxey may land himself. I think Maxey's going to find himself in that 38 to 43 million range per season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Klay Thompson's making 37.9. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 30. He's underpaid. Shai Gilgeous is underpaid. 35.8 million. It's crazy to say guys making 35 million a year is underpaid. That just sounds insane, doesn't it? CJ McCollum, 33.3 million. Drew Holiday, 33.7. James Harden, 34.23. De'Aaron Fox, 32.6. Donovan Mitchell, 32.6. Jordan Poole, 32. You know, I got into a lot of arguments, Rob, back in the day about saying Tyrese Maxey is better than Jordan Poole. And a lot of people didn't want to say it because they saw that playoff performance by Jordan Poole. And they were like, he's the man. I'm like, Listen, if you really watch basketball, Tyrese Maxey is better than that man. He plays the game better. He's more efficient.
It's not even close.
It's not even close. He's a more efficient shooter. He knows how to play within the offense, gets other guys involved, doesn't make dumb plays. But nonetheless, Maxey's going to get around between 38 and 43 million a year. That's what I think.
I agree. Okay. All right. So quickly, I just want to touch on Reese Hoskins. No surprise, classy, out the door here. Basically saying he really appreciated the Phillies were up front with him from the jump. When Bryce Harper decided that he was going to play first base, the Phillies told Reese basically, hey, look, there's not a spot for you, man. We don't want Schwarber playing in the field. Schwarber's going to DH. Harper's going to be at first. There's just not a spot for you. Go do your thing. It doesn't mean we're completely shutting the door, but whatever. So he ends up getting $34 million from the Brewers, and everybody handled it like adults. So it's all good.
And that's how it's supposed to be. Look, in business, there are going to be some people who are happy, some people who are sad. There are going to be some people who like what happened, who don't like what happened. But at the end of the day, at the base of all deals should be truth and transparency, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
If we're transparent throughout this process about what I want, what you want, what we can actually do, we're transparent.
Yep.
Sure, everybody may not get exactly what they want, but at least you can say I didn't lie to you.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of deal maker I want to be. At the very least, you may not like the outcome, but one thing you will never be able to say, I lied to you.
I agree with you.
A lot of people can't understand that basic. You can't live by that basic compass in business.
No. How about this? This is a surprise. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator from the Lions, has informed the Seahawks and the Commanders that he's staying put in Detroit.
Get out.
Whoa.
That's still a curveball.
That is big time for Detroit that they hold on to him, man.
That is big time. That's big time.
So he either
What do you think motivated that move?
Well, he either knows that somebody else is getting Washington or Seattle, or he didn't like what he was hearing from either one of those two.
I think it was more so that.
Dude, that's a small, hey, man, I know there's only 32 of them, and I don't fault anybody for jumping at a head coaching gig, but if he felt uncomfortable, he could stay in a very good spot and continue to put up big numbers in Detroit. Wow. Okay.
I like it. Sometimes
that's major news.
Sometimes the best moves you make is the ones you don't make at all.
Yeah.
And sometimes just because something's offered to you, that don't mean you take it.
I'm shocked. I'm really surprised at that one, but good for him.
Whatever conversations he had in those respective organizations, most notably the Commanders, whatever let's say those conversations went well for the Commanders, but for him, he probably was like, something's off. Something's off here.
Well, you know how it is, Tone. A lot of times your gut's telling you something, and we stupidly ignore our gut sometimes and convince ourselves of something else. But your initial, I don't know, is probably almost always right.
He probably felt like, he didn't trust the new ownership. You know what I mean? They're new, which means that they're going to be very impatient. He probably like, another one needs to come up, I'm sure.
Yeah, man. All right.
So they always do.
Ben Johnson staying put in Motown. All right. So I'm just thinking about this for real quick. Have some fun with this.
Okay. I like fun, Rob.
Sixers, Eagles, Phillies, Flyers. Which team, in your estimation, wins the next championship in Philadelphia?
Temple. No, I'm kidding.
Don't do that to me, man. It's not funny.
You said we're having fun.
That wasn't fun. That was not fun. Temple is annoying me so badly in basketball and football. Don't get me started.
My God, man. It's been a while since Temple's been good at even basketball.
I just want to be relevant again. I'm not saying in basketball a national championship, but can we be ranked? Can it matter again?
No, I feel you. Hey, speaking of Temple basketball, I don't know if I told you this. Did you know Deontay Christmas is my cousin?
I didn't know that. Oh, that's awesome. He was a hell of a player, man.
Yeah. He's one of the Deontay Christmas is my cousin.
That's awesome. He's playing overseas. What's he doing? I forget.
I haven't tapped in with him in a while.
I was a big fan of his.
But I haven't tapped in with him in a while. But last time I checked, he's still making good money overseas. Last time I checked.
Good for him.
My dad my dad and his dad, you know, they're cousins. You know, they ran together, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah, like they're like first cousins. So, yeah, it's my cousin. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, his time at Temple was awesome, man.
He's a good player. He was tough.
Yeah,
he was good. All right, so who is it? Who is it in your estimation?
I'm serious. Temple. So no, I'm joking. But nonetheless, I think the team that's closest. It's so hard to say this now because what the Philadelphia Eagles have done to us over the past few weeks.
Right.
I want to say the Phillies. I think the Phillies are closer.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh.
I think the Phillies are closer because the Sixers still have to prove they can get out of that second round for one. So I can't say they're closer to anything. The Eagles, they're a team that's completely devoid of any defense, and they're still trying to figure out their offensive identity. New coaches, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. It's so many unknowns. As much as we like the Sixers and they're a fun story right now with Maxey and Embiid and all that, there's more unknowns with the Sixers and the Eagles than there are with the Phillies. You know, same thing with the Flyers. There's a lot of unknowns, and they're clearly not ready to win a championship. So I got to go with the Phillies. They came the closest. They're bringing damn near everybody back. I wouldn't be surprised if they make another move. Rob Thompson is still coming back. Ownership and the GM, they're all still in alignment with the vision. I think the Phillies are the closest to winning a championship for the city of Philadelphia.
Interesting. All right, so I'm going to eliminate the Flyers because they're on the ground floor. They're going the right direction, but it's way too soon.
Right.
If this is in terms of who's winning it next, okay. So
right.
Flyers are out, right path, not there yet. Now it gets interesting because you can really shake up the other three, stick your hand in the hat, pull one out, and it's not crazy. You know, if you think about the Sixers, can't get out of the second round over the last few years, but really should have put Boston away.
Should have
in Game 6. Didn't, obviously.
They should have put Atlanta away a few years ago. Remember that?
Put Atlanta away. Yeah. And you know, Boston is looked at as a team to beat, but you know, I think Boston's really good, but I don't think they're great. I don't think anybody's unbeatable in the East.
Right.
Which means if you get there, I mean, I know, you know, you got Joker and those guys to deal with out West, but I don't know, man. I look at the rest of the West, like right now, Minnesota's in first place. Oklahoma City's in third. The Clippers are in fourth. Sacramento's in fifth. Golden State wouldn't even be in right now. The Lakers are a 9 seed. Like, what I'm driving at is if you
the landscape is changing.
Yeah, you get out of that East, man. It's not impossible. It is not impossible. That said, I'm still going to go Eagles, Tone, and I know that sounds crazy, but I've seen Howie Roseman spin out of a mess too many times to discount it. I think he's one or two really good moves away on the defensive side.
Really?
From them becoming respectable defensively. And if you believe enough in Kellen Moore getting Jalen right, dude, I'm telling you, man. Like, think about it. All right.
Think about how many unknowns you just named, though.
I know.
That's my biggest thing. I like to bet on what I know. And the Eagles have a lot of unknowns. Everything that you said, okay, if it works out. Think about the ifs and the what ifs.
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs.
So it's a lot of unknowns with the Eagles right now.
Yeah.
You know, the Phillies, again, I understand, you know, they had their little hiccups here and there, but I know what I'm getting.
Yeah. And they should have been in the World Series, man.
Many argue they should have been in the World Series. Probably could have won it all. Like, I know more with the Phillies than I do with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I can't bet on unknowns.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. But I'm going to bank on Howie's track record of being quite a magician when things look down. I'm going to bank on that. And I feel
that is
like
fair. He responds when things go bad.
Yeah,
he typically responds. Typically.
And I believe the only thing I'll be honest with you, and I believe in Jalen getting back, but I don't know about Sirianni. I feel like they surrounded him with some guys who can coach, which is good. I don't know. But here's what I would say. I would say the Phillies, I would go, my pecking order would be Eagles, Phillies, Sixers. And I think Sixers and Phillies and Eagles are all really, really close to one another. They really are. And when I say track record with Howie, when they were 4-12 in Doug's last year, 2 years later, they're in a Super Bowl. When they were a terrible team under Chip Kelly, 2 years later, they win a Super Bowl. And some of that was hiring the right coach, and some of that was making incredible moves in the offseason. So that's what track record means for some people who may not understand that. So that's where I'm at with that. Now, he's got to have a good draft. He's got to be able to do enough on the defensive side to make it serviceable. Not great, but serviceable. And you got to get the line back. Line's got to come back. Got to be good.
Sounds to me you're naming reasons why they shouldn't be.
No, I don't. No, because look, you're telling me that you got the most out of Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams. But you did. Maybe this coach can. Maybe. There's a lot of maybes here. You know?
Yeah, no, I feel you. Listen, I understand in theory, right? I understand why you feel the way you feel. And look, that's the beautiful part about this show, right? You know, we can still see the perspective, but still disagree, right?
Right.
And I think that's the beautiful part about what we're doing here.
Oh, and it will always be that way too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I look at okay, really quickly.
Yeah.
While we can, let's just look at the MLB landscape right now.
Okay.
You're way more keyed into baseball than I am. I lean on you a lot in this regard.
Yeah.
Let's just look at the National League right now.
Okay.
The Phillies had the Braves number until further notice. Until further notice, the Phillies got their number in the playoffs. I believe that.
I'll go with the other side on that. How many times can you keep beating that insane Braves team?
Okay.
How many times are the Dodgers going to underachieve? The Dodgers have assembled an all-star team.
They have.
Ohtani, the other Japanese pitcher. It's insane what they're doing. Are they going to keep coming up small in the postseason?
Probably not. So are you saying the Phillies have been benefactors of two underachieving organizations?
Well, the Phillies have knocked the Braves out the last 2 years. So
right.
I'm not – the Phillies put them away, man. So
Fair
the Phillies
square.
deserve props. No doubt. But I also think the Braves team is more talented and logically, eventually – not that the Phillies aren't talented, but logically, I think the Braves eventually are going to beat them. And the Dodgers have been loaded a lot too and don't do it. But they're really loaded this year.
Okay.
So that would be my, and I would I think the D-backs come back to earth a little bit.
Okay.
I don't really love some other teams. I think the Phillies are the third best team in the NL. Right
I think Milwaukee's on the come up.
They'll be okay. Yeah, we're getting Reese will help them with some pop for sure. They'll get some pop there.
I also like that for Reese too. He went to a situation that's pretty promising. I like that for him.
Yeah, he's good. Look, he'll be good. They'll love him there. I mean, he'll fit in very well with that team. And the big question for them, he is playing first, I believe, is just defensively. That's all.
Where do you rank the Phillies right now in their conference?
And they're third, in my opinion.
They're third?
Yeah.
Behind the Braves and the Dodgers.
Yeah, I would go, my pecking order would be Braves, Dodgers.
What about the Braves puts them ahead of the Dodgers for you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just giving you the people. I would probably say the Dodgers, Braves, Phillies, Diamondbacks. I know the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies, but I put them there. Cubs. Yeah, that'd be like my top five.
Okay.
Those teams. I'm going with the Dodgers based on talent and pitching now that they have, even though Ohtani can't pitch this year. Yamamoto, I think, is the real deal.
Now, remember, baseball is a very funny game. It's the kind of game where just because you spent it, that don't mean you earn it. You feel me? So,
totally. The Dodgers are the greatest example of that ever.
Yeah, the Mets as well. So, when you think about it from that perspective, although they did load up, and the Braves, you know, they're talented pitching and hitting all across. They're one of the better teams in the league. Until further notice, the Phillies got their number. Until further notice in the playoffs, right? Once they knock that demon off their back, okay, cool. But until further notice, I think the Phillies have just as good a chance to make it to the World Series as the Dodgers and the Braves because those two teams have underachieved.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Phillies, I believe they've either played to the standard or overachieved. So which category do you think the Phillies fall into?
I think they played above their heads a little bit to get out of
the hole that they always put themselves in around July, June.
Yeah, and to get to the NLCS. But I think where they underachieved, you get up 3 games to 2, going back to your place.
Yeah,
you choked.
They choked. Well, they lost 3 games in a row. Like they choked completely.
2 of them at home. You needed 1 at home. That's all you needed.
Yeah, that was a choke job for sure.
It is.
That was a complete choke job.
Yeah, so they choked there, but they overachieved big time getting to the World Series the year before because nobody expected.
Nobody saw them coming then.
Yeah,
I think the following year people were like, okay, all right, they're good, but how good are they? And then they make it back to the NLCS to a Game 7. So I think you're never as good as your best. You're never as bad as your worst.
Yeah,
the Phillies are clearly a playoff team.
Yeah.
They're going to, because of who they are, because of the way they play, the mystique they carry, because the Phillies have a mystique, believe it or not.
Yeah.
They're known as this team that just won't die.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talented, obviously. The Schwarbombs, Harper, Trey Turner, we can go on and on.
Okay.
But
hey,
I think
let me give you this too, Tony.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what Adam Schefter just put out. So
okay, let's do it.
Possibly Ben Johnson's asking price spooked the 2 potential teams.
Oh,
my man was looking to get broken off. So,
well, look, sometimes listen, you want to pay me for my headache? You better pay the right price. Look, the Commanders, that's going to be a headache to take over. Would you not agree?
Oh, I mean, who's your quarterback? I don't know what Josh Harris is going to be as a football owner. I have no idea.
Exactly.
Not to mention other things. Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns there. Seattle, I mean, do we really feel like Geno's the guy for the next 4 or 5 years?
No, they're drafting a quarterback.
So that's a bit of an unknown. He has really good receivers he'd be stepping in there with, though. That would be nice. But yeah, I hear you. All right, let's get into timeout. Let's do the full NFL thing when we come back. We'll talk coaching hires, who's going where, who's not, etc. when we come back. Don't go anywhere. That's Tone. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take. Let me tell you right now about Flynn Tree Services. They are an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. They are experts trimming all types of trees, and they serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Keep in mind, we got, some sketchy weather right now. It's a great time on a solid day to get your tree evaluated, your tree situation evaluated before anything bad really hits. Go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News?
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
What is up, friends? Appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Welcome back in. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. That's Tone. I am Rob. All right, so let's hit some things, Tone. Just to reiterate, if you're just tuning in, Ben Johnson will be staying put in Detroit, which means he will not be taking the Washington or Seattle gig. He will stay there with that high-powered offense for at least one more year. So there's big news for Detroit. I'm sure they are bummed in Washington and Seattle. So that's the first piece of this thing. Couple other coaching hires, guys who are actually grabbing the gigs here. All right. So Bobby Babich is now the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. He will be taking over. He was named the defensive coordinator today. He joined the Bills in 2017 as the team's assistant defensive backs coach and worked his way up, recently in charge of the linebackers. So he's been there for quite a while, and he will take over there. He's had previous experience with the Browns, the Panthers, and in college football. So he is the defensive coordinator in Buffalo. All right, let me give you some numbers here, Tone, what the from a ratings perspective here, what the games did. The early game, the Ravens and the Chiefs, 55 million viewers for the 3 p.m. kickoff between the Ravens and the Chiefs. It's the most watched AFC championship game ever.
Woo.
Ever. So, yeah, the juggernaut.
That's a lot of people.
The NFL just keeps
how many people are in the United States?
I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. But you got 55 there. For the later game, you got 56.9. You almost got 57 million watching the later game. That's a 19% increase on the Eagles-Niners game from last year, in part because the Eagles destroyed the Niners, and it just wasn't a really competitive game or fun game to watch, whereas this game was highly competitive.
So how many million people you said watched
55
that?
For the AFC and 56.9 for the NFC.
Okay. So let's just say they captivated 56 million people, right, on average between those two games, right? 56 million. There is a total of 339. This is people that's on record. Okay. There's 339.996 million people in the United States. So if we're doing some math here, 56 million divided by 339,996,000. They captivated 16% of the American population. If obviously all the viewers are in America, but obviously they're not. Mm-hmm. So they were able to, but if they were able to captivate 16% of total viewership in America.
It's amazing. I'll give you, just to put it in perspective for a minute. So there was a game Saturday night, the late game on ABC basketball was the Lakers and the Warriors. And that game drew 3.968 million. That's the largest regular season NBA audience across platforms in 4 years, non-Christmas.
Wow.
That's a really good number. Now, I'm not comparing it to the NFL. I'm just telling you, like, sports in general is big bucks.
Right. See, the thing is, the NFL, one game in the regular season can destroy 3 NBA games, 5 NBA games easily. NBA, I mean, the NFL was a hell of a product, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question. I mean, they're just a different it's almost not comparable at this point. You have to put the NFL in its own category, and then everybody else is, baseball's become a very regional sport in a lot of ways. They do well. Like the Phillies did really well this year on NBC Sports Philadelphia, extremely well. It's not so much a national sport anymore. Basketball still is. Hockey, they're trying to sort of re-branch it out with TNT and some of the new ESPN, some of the new contracts of networks that have taken it over. But
some of those sports are hard because NHL and MLB is always going to be harder because you can't play those sports anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're naturally going to be regionalized. Whereas basketball, there's always a basketball court somewhere. There's always an indoor gym somewhere. Football, you play outside no matter the weather. So no matter the weather. So that sport just is automatically just going to trump it. It's all about the barrier of entry.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher the barrier of entry, the less likely the average American citizen is going to be interested in the sport. Basketball, just all you need is a ball.
Yeah.
Football, all you need is a football. Hockey, you need a stick, you need a puck, you need a face mask, it can get tricky.
Yeah. No, I got you. This is a big one for the Super Bowl. Charles Omenihu, who is one of the Chiefs' better pass rushers, he's out. He tore his ACL in the Ravens game.
Damn.
Yeah.
That
so
sucks.
He had a good year. I mean, he was suspended for the first 4 games, but he ended up getting, or I think it's first 6 games. Sorry. He ended up getting 7 sacks in 11 games. And he also had that strip sack against the Ravens. So that's important.
Wow. That's a big loss for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one to watch for sure. How their defensive line responds without him.
What's his name again?
Charles Omenihu. Omenihu. Yeah, he was with the Texans, 49ers. I think Chiefs are his 3rd team.
Okay. Because I'm curious. I want to see something. I want to see. He's a D lineman or edge rusher? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Omenihu.
Okay.
Not seeing him.
All right. Here he is, Charles Omenihu. Okay, defensive end, signed to a 2-year, $16 million deal. That was a free agent signing. Wow, that was a good pickup by them.
Yeah,
that was a really good pickup. Yeah, he
Brett
was with
Veach's
Houston.
Money. Yeah, he's money.
Yeah, he was drafted by Houston in 2019. They didn't re-sign him after the rookie contract. He was drafted in the 5th round. Wow, they found a 5th round guy, and he gave you 7 sacks in 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh.
Yeah, man.
Talk about finding a dude.
All right. So a couple other things. Andy Reid addressed the Kadarius Toney claim that he, hasn't been hurt and BS what the organization's doing. He said he is in fact hurt. He's been hurt since week 15. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to go back and forth with a he said on this one. Here's the bottom line. You and I have a better chance of dressing in the Super Bowl than Kadarius Toney does for the Chiefs after he pulled this crap. Andy Reid, under no circumstance. You could have guys kidnapped on the way to the game. And
you can have guys kidnapped.
Kadarius Toney will not be playing in that game. You mark it down. Okay. So we'll see. This thing's going to keep going back and forth. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Jimmy Lake was hired as the Falcons defensive coordinator. He takes over there with Raheem Morris and that crew.
Okay.
Zach Robinson as well. So he's there. Looks like the Patriots will not pick up the 5th-year option on Mac Jones. No surprise. No surprise there.
Saw that coming.
The Chargers are set to hire Joe Ortiz as their general manager. He was the former. This is smart. These are the kind of teams that I'm picking from if I'm an organization. He was the Ravens' former director of player personnel. There's a great foundation there with the Ravens, and they grabbed him from there.
Man, the Ravens are just getting poached. Didn't another one of their GMs get that?
Did somebody else take another one from their front office? I'm trying to remember.
I think I'm not entirely sure. You may have named the guy that I'm thinking about, honestly. So
okay,
I could be wrong, but still, people are. That's what happens, right? When you're a good team, people poach the hell out of you.
That's it, man. That's it. All right. So elsewhere, Art Rooney, the second owner of the Steelers, was you don't usually hear this kind of stuff from the Steelers, so I think it was kind of interesting. He basically said, I have faith in Coach Tomlin, or else we wouldn't have brought him back. But we need to start winning playoff games. So I don't know. I mean, that's for them, that's pretty strong words.
Yeah, they're normally very patient, but they've been patient for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
and
listen,
he also threw a little, hey, we still believe in Kenny Pickett, which was sort of like sure
that's cute, but we don't believe you.
No, nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it. Do you remember remember it was last week we talked about this. Chip Kelly's trying to get some steam to maybe get back in the NFL.
Why? Just why? You're making so much money in the college ranks. Why? Less headache. Why?
My theory, he was just trying to get the price tag up on UCLA a little bit.
He is such a
he's a weasel. He is. He's a total weasel. Yeah.
He is. I watch a lot of movies, man. And I like crime movies like Mobster,
Same. That's
Cartel.
my kind of thing.
I like those kind of things, right? And I never know what I'm okay. You never know something's derogatory until you watch certain things. Like, because I was going to call him something, but I'm like, hold on, wait. I'm not from that community. I probably shouldn't say that.
All right, be careful. Be careful. We don't need to be canceled
at all. Exactly.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
I don't want to be canceled.
That's my own theory that he was trying to get.
Oh,
so is interested. Hey, UCLA. Let's rise up the price a little bit. That's just
somebody in the live chat help me out. What's something that Italians use when they're trying to call someone like a slickster or something? Someone who's
oh jeez. I'm not. No, thank you.
All right.
Somebody in the chat can do it. I'm not.
Next topic.
Yeah. I thought this was kind of interesting here from Dan Campbell. So he doesn't regret going for it. Okay. You've just opened up a can of worms in the chat, by the way. So he doesn't regret going.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Jeez. You guys are terrible. A wise guy. Yeah, there we go. A wise guy. Let's go with that. A wise guy.
So he said, I would still go for it in those situations. His kicker was like 45% or 48% beyond 45 yards. And that was part of the justification of it. But what he said was, I did make a mistake running the ball at 3rd and goal. Do you remember their last series? They had ended up scoring, but he didn't give himself enough time. He had to blow a timeout there when he did it. So he did say, if I could do things over, I'd go back and change that to a pass play for what. All right.
Don't you
Stills is giving you a word here that you can use. There you go.
Squalida, sleazy. Okay.
Squalida. Yeah. There you go.
But don't you hate when they ask you? Sometimes I feel like these reporters, man, they just trying to get under someone's skin. No offense, man. I see a lot of reporters I respect, but sometimes I'm like, geez, man, like, how many times do you guys want him to, like, he can't change what happened?
Well, it's also like you're in such a vulnerable spot. Like that just happened 2 days ago. Like you're so banged up from it too.
Yeah.
And you got to get hit with that stuff. And it's like,
and let's be frank, let's be totally honest about this. Let's be real. They got where they were because of how he's been handling things.
I know.
And it's the, listen, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You know what I'm saying? The same thing that, listen, our guy B. Brooks always says this. Same thing that can make you laugh can make you cry. You know what I'm saying? So it's I know a lot of people do want to kill Dan Campbell, and he did, and he did get a lot of that, but that's how he got here.
I know.
He got to that.
He stayed true to who he was.
Being that
he
guy.
Down, his way. Anytime, look, the last thing you want to do is fail on somebody else's terms.
Like the Ravens did.
Yeah, just in life. You don't want, hey, if it's not going to work, at least I did it my way and it didn't work. I can live with that a little bit more than I can live with. I went with whatever.
I was out of character.
Somebody thought I didn't. Yeah, there's nothing worse than that.
That's why the Ravens lost, because they deviated from who they were.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Lions, they stuck with who they were, and they just lost the game.
They lost.
You know what I mean? Both teams lost the game, for entirely different reasons. Dan Campbell, they lost the game falling on their sword.
Yeah.
Now obviously that comes with experience. Now that you've been there, done that, you know when to curtail it back. You know when to put your foot on the gas, hit the brake. It's a hard job that they do. It's very difficult. Everything is split-second decision. It's hard.
It is. It is. All right. So elsewhere, we talked about this earlier, but in case you're just tuning in, Arthur Smith gets the offensive coordinator gig with the Steelers. So he will try to inject some life into those guys. I think the first thing you do is you get a quarterback. So we'll see what they end up doing because there is some talent there. You got to get Pickens right. There's a couple other guys. They have a really good running game, but there's things that need to be done. That's for sure. For them. All right. Elsewhere around the league here. Packers are interviewing Denard Wilson, former Eagle defensive back, for their DC job. So
okay, hope he gets that role.
Yeah, we'll see. He's interviewed a couple places for the defensive coordinator job. I thought this was cool. There's 12 starters left from both teams from the Super Bowl 4 years ago between the Chiefs and the Niners.
That's crazy.
So,
it just speaks to how these rosters turn over, man.
Doesn't it? It really does. I mean, it's amazing in that league, more than any league. But you're right.
It also speaks to both organizations' ability to constantly just retool and stay in the mix. Stay in the mix, yeah.
Ron Rivera interviewed for the Rams defensive coordinator job. That's a little surprising, no?
I don't know if surprising is the word. Sean McVay has never been afraid with going super experienced with his DC. Like, he had Wade Phillips when he first got there. Raheem Morris obviously had a lot of experience. Ron Rivera. So I mean, it's not totally off base. And also Ron Rivera, he's been on the East Coast, for the most part. I wouldn't be surprised if he wouldn't mind go to the West Coast, getting a different vibe, getting that Cali skin, getting that Cali sun on the skin,
No, I hear you. All right. So this, just to follow up on the Ben Johnson thing. So Josina Anderson of CBS Sports is saying, like, she's basically standing behind. She's the one who put out there that he was asking in the neighborhood of $15 million.
Woo!
$15 million.
No one is getting that.
Well, Johnson's agent disputes it, and they're having kind of a back and forth. So she's standing behind her story.
Of course, as she should.
If he was really,
15, the head coaches aren't even getting that money.
It's too much. It's too much. You drop that down to about 10. I think he's probably got a job.
Vic Fangio was the highest paid coordinator at one point with $7.5 million a year. You want to double that? Yeah. Well, he's gonna be the head coach, but still, like, it's some head coaches that aren't even getting that money.
No, that's a lot, man.
That's a lot for a first-time head coach.
Yeah,
you're unproven. No,
I'll tell you what, if he's back into it next year, which he probably will be, he might want to lower that number, or he's going to stay in Detroit for a long time. I'm serious, man. Like, if I'm an owner, I'm like, wait, 15 and you have no coaching experience?
You ever have somebody make you an offer? You ever had somebody make you an offer and you say, yeah, you can't be serious. There's no way you're taking this conversation seriously right now. That's kind of probably how those teams felt, if that's the case, right? They're probably like, okay, there's no way you're serious about this job. You're just pricing yourself out of the room.
Well, the other thing is, like, there's negotiations where we all know how it works. You start here, they come in here, and you get somewhere in the middle. There's negotiations, and then there's like, wait, what? How much? He wants how much? Thanks, but no thanks. We're gonna seek other options here. Yeah, that's a big number. His agent needs to calm down a little bit too.
Where do you think the Commander started at, and where do you think he started at? Like, how do you think he landed on? Was it 15 million? Is that what the rumor is?
God, I can't imagine he started higher than that. The Commanders probably came in at around 7, knowing they were probably gonna have to go around 10. I don't know what he came in at.
What do you imagine? Okay, so that's good. You think they were prepared to pay 10, but they were willing to, like, obviously they're going to lowball him, but you think they were prepared to pay 10?
Yeah, close to it, maybe 8 to 10.
Let's see.
Makes. Do we know what Nick makes?
I think we do. Let's check something out real quick.
I think Nick is in that like 7.5, 8 range. Let's
see here. All right. Let's look at the highest paid coaches in the NFL. Here we are. All right, so the 10 highest paid The 10 highest paid coaches in the NFL right now: Bill Belichick, $20 million. He's still getting paid from New England, by the way.
Yep.
Bill Belichick at $20 million. Sean Payton at $18 million. Pete Carroll at 15. Sean McVay at 15. Mike Tomlin at 12.5. Andy Reid at 12. John Harbaugh at 12. Kyle Shanahan at 10. Josh McDaniels at 10. Mike Vrabel at 9.5. The lowest paid head coaches are Kevin Stefanski at $3.5 million, Mike McCarthy at $4 million, Zach Taylor at 4.5, Robert Saleh at 5, and Matt LaFleur at $5 million. So Nick Sirianni is flirting between $5 million and $9 million in salary.
Okay.
And this guy, what is it, Ben Johnson? He thought he went at 15.
Yeah.
Bro, all those guys in the top, every guy in the top 5. Matter of fact, I'll put it this way: every guy in the top 7,
yeah,
have won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's
you're not that guy. You ever seen that meme on the internet? You're not that guy.
No, if that in fact was his asking price, it's insanity.
He's insane. It's astronomical.
All right, let's get a timeout. We got a bunch of other things we're going to hit when we come back. Doc Rivers makes his debut. Ben Simmons comes back. I'll tell you what, something I really like from the NBA All-Star weekend, which they're going to be doing. I think this is cool.
I think I know where you're going with this. I can't wait to talk about it.
I'm excited about this. So we'll dive into that. I'll tell you what color the Chiefs are going to wear, what color the Niners are going to wear in the Super Bowl as well. So a lot to get to when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Tone DeShields, Rob Ellis, we're Sports Take. Right back.
I remember getting my heart broken when they lost the Super Bowl in 2004. We're big Eagles fans. We moved to South Philly because of the Eagles. When they won, we went straight to Broad Street, and everybody was going nuts over there, and it was just a memory that you'll never forget.
Any professional sports coach will tell you there's no substitution for preparation. At Malamut & Associates, that is a tenet by which we live. We prepare from day one for victory. Anything less is not acceptable.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
EAGLES. Eagles.
We are back. Appreciate you hanging out with us. I'll give you a little bit more from Adam Schefter of ESPN. Commanders officials were en route to Detroit for a meeting with Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, who's the defensive coordinator, when they got word that Johnson was staying with the Lions. Per sources, while the abrupt pivot by Johnson was considered surprising by several league sources, he was not considered a lock for the Commanders' job despite his strong reputation as a coordinator and loyal coach. The Commanders' leadership remains eager to meet with Glenn, who was one of several candidates expected to consider for the head coaching vacancy. Okay, so in other words, Aaron Glenn's still in it. Ben Johnson's out. So Detroit might lose their D coordinator, but they won't be losing both like the Eagles did last year. So if you're a Lions fan, you're a happy camper.
Okay.
So there's that. All right. So Super Bowl. Chiefs will wear red. Niners will wear white. Chiefs red. Niners white.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
I love this. Love this for NBA weekend skills competitions. Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu will have a 3-point shooting contest. I think that's awesome.
That's fire.
That's going to be so good, man.
I agree.
I'd love to almost maybe next year when she comes out or whatever, incorporate Caitlin Clark, maybe another, maybe you do like a three woman, 3-man thing with Steph. And
that
might
cool.
be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, right? Kind of like a so are you like saying like everyone for themselves, like a team?
No,
like,
team total.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll do it, but I mean, I think that's part of it. Like I think the skills competition stuff has become like more fun than actually watching a game in some ways. The dunk has gotten a little bit old maybe, but some of the other stuff I really do enjoy.
Yeah, I like the fact that the NBA has went back to the East-West format and kind of got rid of that draft thing. The draft thing it turned into a popularity contest. It turned into I'm drafting my friends more so that it wasn't really a fair thing. It was fun at first, but I think overall the East-West concept is way better, in my humble opinion. All-Star Weekend could definitely use a shot in the arm, with anything that can spark interest. It's unfortunate the NBA is constantly having to retool that thing every single year because they don't trust that whatever they did the year before is going to work the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I respect the ingenuity, but overall it's unfortunate that they don't have anything that's kind of like foundational anymore.
I agree. I mean, look, the tough thing is, hey, this is also interesting. I saw this. I know I'm jumping back and forth here, but
no, you're fine.
We've
it's
been
the last segment. We're good.
Well, it's because we've been talking about this a lot. So the Commanders did interview Eric Bieniemy for the head coaching job for what it's worth. Okay. I know we were asking like, what is happening here? We're not hearing him being mentioned, whatever. So they've interviewed Bieniemy, Aaron Glenn, with the second interview coming up. Ben Johnson, we know he's off the table. Mike McDonald, the Ravens D coordinator. Raheem Morris, who got the Atlanta gig. Dan Quinn, who could also still get Seattle. Bobby Slowick, and Anthony Weaver. So, like, anyway, if that answers anything, I don't know what's going to happen with Bieniemy, but he at least got a crack at the
I think the Commanders go offensive with their head coach this go around. They went defensive. They've had that for the past several years. I think they go offense on with their head coach this time.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, look, that's the trend most teams go. They go that direction. All right, basketball. I mentioned the Sixers lost. They play Golden State tonight. Ben Simmons came back last night. He had missed 38 games with back impingement. He had 10 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists in 18 minutes, did not turn the ball over. Played well by all accounts. The question is, will he stay on the floor for the rest of the season for Brooklyn? That's the major question.
Back impingement. That's my first time ever hearing.
Nerve impingement in the back.
Right. That's that sounds like when the word entanglement became popular by Jada Pinkett Smith. entanglement. It's just
oh man,
impingement. Really, like now we're just throwing words around to try to justify our actions, and it's just like, come on, man. Ben Simmons he's cooked. He's cooked, man. He'd much rather sit home and play Call of Duty.
I just wonder, does this guy really want to play basketball ultimately?
No, of course not. He's made some. Okay, you know what? We're here. Let's do it. Let's look at how much money Ben Simmons has made so far in the NBA.
Oh, he's a Hall of Fame moneymaker. Yeah.
Ben Simmons.
I'm going to guess he's already made $150.
All right, so Ben Simmons has been in the NBA since 2016. He's a 7-year veteran. Career earnings so far estimated through 8 seasons in the NBA, he's made $163 million. And by the end of his contract in Brooklyn, he's gonna make an additional $40 million, which will put him at $203.356 million.
My God. Yep.
$203.3 million
mm-hmm.
in career earnings.
And that's if he doesn't even get another contract.
And that's if he doesn't get another contract. And
when is he up with this one now?
This upcoming next season is the last year of the contract.
So one more after this.
Yes, correct. And knowing the NBA, he's going to find another job somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Some sucker. Yep.
Someone's going to pay him between 15 and someone's going to pay him between maybe 10 and 15, between maybe 13 and 18 million to have him come in and maybe be a rotational point, maybe be their starting point, but he's not their main guy. You know what I mean? He's going to get another job after Brooklyn. You can't teach that size, that type of athleticism. He has true point guard ability. I definitely see another team, taking a flyer on him.
Well, you know what he'll do too. He'll turn it on enough, not this year, but next year when he's in the last year of that thing. He'll turn it on enough towards the end of the season that will throw the hook out there and he's going to reel somebody in. Guaranteed that'll happen. That's amazing. All right, so he returns. Doc Rivers, who wouldn't wish getting $40 million on anybody to come back and coach in the NBA. They lost in their debut last night to the Nuggets, 113-107, and he's preaching patience, and it's going to take us a while. He's acting like he's got the worst roster in the NBA. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to listen to. The good old Doc laying all this out. Amazing. It's amazing. I really hope that the Sixers and the Bucks meet in the second round and the Sixers knock them out. I think it would just be absolutely poetic. I really do. I think it'd be beautiful if that ended up happening.
It would. It
definitely would. All right, tell me if you agree or disagree. Jason Kidd, who's the coach of the Mavericks, says that Luka is better than Dirk. Agree or disagree?
Define better.
He's a little biased because he coaches Luka, right?
Right.
He played with Dirk.
He played with Dirk too for a few years.
He won a championship with Dirk.
Right. So it's kind of interesting. They're so different in terms of how they play the position. It's just,
yeah. I mean, Luka's a playmaker.
Yeah. Dirk was never a point guard or a guy. No. He wasn't a facilitator.
He was a scoring machine.
He was a scoring machine, one of the most unguardable jump shots in the NBA, one of the best turnaround jump shots in the NBA, one of the best power forwards we've ever seen, one of the best international players we've ever seen.
Oh, without doubt.
I mean, how are you gauging that? I mean,
I know it's hard. It's hard because here's the problem too. Luka's so early in the journey.
Yeah.
By 7 years from now, 8 years from now, we might say it's not even close. It's Luka Doncic.
Right.
I mean, the numbers that he's putting up are
astronomical.
Insane.
Right. And plus this new NBA with the space with the spacing and everything. Yeah. If Dirk Nowitzki played in this NBA, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like it's kind of hard to even compare those two. I'm not even going to really say either or. That's just not a comparison.
If I'm Kidd, and he might have been asked this in fairness, but
right.
Dude, I'm not.
And look,
I'm staying away from that. I'm not dissing Dirk by saying Luka's better, even if Luka is.
I don't even think he probably was dissing Dirk. I look at it like Luka's on his team. He's going to say whatever to big up him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Dirk is a legend. Dirk comes to most of those games. I think Dirk knows Jason Kidd, and that's not obviously the angle he's trying to take.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think he was trying to take him down. I think
I bet if you even ask Dirk would be like, yeah, that kid's way better than me.
Oh, for sure. That's the way Dirk is.
That's just how Dirk operates. You know what I mean? No ego.
Yeah. And he still is around the organization a ton, and and all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Luka's got to win a ring because Dirk did. That's for sure. All right. So a couple other things here to pass along. TJ Hawkinson had ACL surgery. Remember he tore.
He just got the surgery?
Well, a lot of times you got to let that thing go down. And sometimes those ACLs take a long time for the swelling to go down.
Oh.
That was my first thought too. It's basically a month later. You look at it like, damn, did you waste a month here? Some guys though don't. It all depends on what the situation is. But yeah.
Okay.
He also tore the MCL on the knee too. So it was, I know. The delay. So that's actually part of it because of the MCL. It delayed the ACL surgery. They wanted the MCL to heal up a little bit more before they went in there and did it. So
yeah, my uncle, by marriage, my wife's uncle, he was doing some work on a ladder.
Oh no!
And he fell off and. To put it plainly, he got the Nick Chubb injury.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it was rough. It was nasty. But he's in great spirits. So he's a funny guy. So he just laughs it off. But it's insane, man. These injuries. I think he just got his second surgery because surgery like that, they got to do the first one to clean it up and all that. Then they got to wait. They go back in there and reset some things. So
well, and here's the problem with like normal human beings. First of all, I'm sure he doesn't have an entire staff or team to help him.
Exactly.
To rehab, right? Number one, he doesn't have probably a personal trainer and all those other, and he may not even have benefits. Like it's just, and he's got to probably, as soon as he can, get back up on that ladder, man. That's real.
Yeah. Thank God he does though. Thank God he does. His so far, everything I've heard, everything's kosher with, the job and all that kind of stuff and whatnot. But yeah, it's a scary thing, man. Scary thing.
Yeah, it's tough. But it's crazy though now, like a guy has the surgery, like TJ Hawkinson we're at the end of January. They're saying he could be back by September. Whereas back in the day, that's at least a year. The technology is such that,
at the very least, man. Hey, sidebar, man.
Yeah.
It's the last segment. We got a few minutes left.
I like keeping the last segment loose. So go ahead.
Yeah. I was so last night I watched two movies.
Okay.
I watched Hypnotic with Ben Affleck. It just came out I think it came out last year or something like that. It pretty much follows a police officer, or rather a detective who his daughter Ben Affleck plays a detective whose daughter went missing years ago.
Wow.
And in the midst of a case that he's on, a photo of his daughter appears in the crime scene.
Oh wow!
And now he's trying to figure out what's the connection, and it gets.
I don't remember this when it came out.
It gets real science. It gets real sci-fi. You know what I mean? It's really interesting, really cool.
Did he direct it too? He's a good director.
I'm not sure if he directed it, but it's on Peacock.
Okay.
It's called Hypnotic.
Hypnotic on Peacock. All right.
Yeah, it's really good. And I watched the old one. I watched the old movie, and you might know.
Oh, there's an original?
No. I'm sorry. Not like this is two separate movies. My apologies.
Okay.
I didn't mean to conflate that. Hypnotic is a completely new concept. It kind of reminded me of Inception a little bit.
Oh, really? I love Inception.
Yeah. If you like Inception, I think you'll like this movie, Hypnotic, with Ben Affleck. So check that out. Hypnotic, Ben Affleck, Peacock. Then I watched an entirely different movie after that. I watched the old Sylvester Stallone movie called, you're probably going to laugh at this. This isn't one of the best movies in its catalog. But I watched it because I never seen it.
All right.
Avenging Angelo.
Avenging Angela.
Avenging Angelo.
Oh, it's like a comedy, isn't it?
It's like a it kind of gives you analyze this, analyze that vibe.
Yeah, it's got that vibe to it.
The comedy,
get shorty kind of.
Yeah, it gives you that kind of vibe. And there's a line in it where Angelo, okay, so Sylvester Stallone plays a mob bodyguard who's been tasked with protecting his godfather's, daughter.
Yeah.
But she's an estranged daughter. She doesn't know that she's the daughter of a mob boss.
He's the father, yeah.
But Sylvester's been protecting her since she was a kid.
Okay.
So Angelo dies, and now all his enemies are trying to take out his daughter.
Yeah.
And so Sylvester Stallone's trying to protect her throughout the whole movie.
Okay.
But it's funny. You know what I mean? It's pretty funny.
Right, I gotta check that out.
It's quirky. It's kind of corny, but I liked it though. It gave me one of my new favorite movie lines I've heard ever.
Okay.
And it starts off like this. It's pretty early in the movie. Angelo's talking to Sylvester Stallone's character, and Angelo says, "Frankie, always watch out." And Frankie's Sylvester Stallone. Frankie says, "Watch out for what, Angelo?" He says, "Always watch out for those that feel pain and want you to know it."
Oh,
that was heavy. There's something about that line that just really think about that. It really resonates in real life, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know the types.
Watch out for those who feel pain and want you to know it.
Wow. Okay.
So that line,
That's a good line.
I was like, that's a top tier movie line, low key. Now that begs the question. Now I'm asking you. I said all that in a roundabout way to ask you, what's one of your most favorite movie lines that you've heard or experienced? And you've watched a lot of movies. You're a movie guy like me. So what's a movie line to you that's always stood out to you in your mind? One that you can go back to and says, "Oh, that was a line that gave me chills," because that line gave me a feeling.
Okay. I got it.
A few times.
I got it.
Okay.
All right. So Shawshank. There's two. There's a scene where Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins, Andy Dufresne and Ellis, Red's Ellis. His name is Ellis. His first name's Ellis, but his name's Red. But so they're sitting there and they're talking, and Andy's kind of babbling, and Red's looking at him like Morgan Freeman's looking at, Tim Robbins' character like, I'm a little worried about this guy. Like the prison might be getting to him. Like he might be ready to off himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then he talked about hope, and Red was like, I don't think you should get yourself all worked up here, Andy. We're in prison. We're way the hell in here, and they're way the hell out there. Because he was talking about maybe escaping and all this other stuff. And he said, I'm going to get the exact line because it's to me, it's poetic. It's Stephen King. Hope is the best thing. Here it is. Hope is the best thing. Okay, remember, Red. Hope is the best thing. Maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. That's a pretty good line. Remember, Red. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
I like that.
That's a good line, right? And then there's another one. He said to him, so after Andy escaped, I'm pulling them all up right now so I get the right lines for you. Okay. So Red says this one. I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. And when they fly away, the part of you that knows it was a sin to keep them locked up does rejoice. But still, the place you live in is that much more drab and empty that they're gone. I guess I just missed my friend. So, you didn't think you'd be getting those two out of me, did you? I went deep.
Wow, you went deep. You went deep. Oh my goodness, you went deep, man.
Anyway,
you went deep.
Yeah, I did. All right. Well, where were we? Oh, let me ask you this. I did want to throw this last one at you. Speaking of movies. So today is the 94th birthday of Gene Hackman. He's still with us.
Gene Hackman. Wow, right. That's a name.
So here's the question. He was the coach for Hoosiers, Coach Norman Dale. All right. Give me your favorite fictional coach.
Wow. In a movie?
Yes. Go movie or TV.
One of my favorite fictional coaches. One of my favorite sports movies that I feel like doesn't get enough love.
Yeah.
Gridiron Gang. The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
I love The Rock and Gridiron Gang. That's what he's
good in that. Yeah.
He's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite movie coaches. That's one. Have you ever? Trying to think if I got this right. My
Coach Carter's a good one.
Coach Carter's good. That's a really good one.
Philly 07.
Coach Carter's very, very good.
Yep.
Yeah, those might be my top two.
All right, I'll go with my
Al Pacino and what was that?
I'll give you his name because I was thinking about this.
Oh my goodness.
Tony D'Amato. Coach Tony D'Amato and Any Given Sunday.
Yep, Any Given Sunday. He was good. Yeah.
Paul Crewe was the original with Burt Reynolds. Which is one in The Longest Yard, which is
the Longest Yard, yeah.
One of the all times, right there. I got to go. I'll go stereotypical for me. How about Mickey, Rocky's trainer? That's a coach.
Oh, I didn't think about Mickey.
Get up, Rock!
Bit.
You son of a bitch! You've been crapping lightning and spitting thunder.
Then in that case, give me Duke.
I love Duke. Duke, incredibly underrated. Duke,
incredibly underrated.
Yeah,
one of my favorite movie lines that I've ever heard.
Yeah,
was that scene where Apollo wanted to fight Rocky so bad.
It's the greatest.
Duke walks up to him.
Well, he says, "What are you afraid of?" Apollo's saying, "Oh,
right.
come on."
He said, "What are you afraid of?" He looks around. He gets up.
Yeah.
Walks over. He says, "Listen, champ, I saw you beat that man like no man I've ever seen get beat before. He kept coming. Now let me tell you this, champ. We don't need that kind of problem."
He's all wrong for us, baby. He says he's all wrong for us, baby. We don't need that kind of man in our life.
We don't need that kind of man in our life. What?
Yes.
That's cold. That's cold.
But where else are you going to get that kind of truth from somebody, man?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to get that kind of truth from somebody that loves you?
Telling you, man. Yep. Good stuff. All right. We got to roll. Tomorrow. So tomorrow we will have Jeff Kerr. He will join us from CBS Sports. He was down in Baltimore for the game this past weekend. Thursday, we'll have Chris Franklin join us from NJ.com. We'll get his takes on what's going on with the Eagles as well and all their coaching moves. Thanks, everybody in the chat, everybody streaming, everybody listening. Don't go anywhere. National Football Show with Dan Cilio. Tone will be joining him as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Appreciate it.